Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent, horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Another Sunday edition of Two Dudes and a Mic, NFL Week 13. Thanksgiving is beyond us, and we are into December 1st.
Yep.
How's your Thanksgiving, everybody?
It was Thanksgiving as well.
It was excellent, yeah.
Pretty
Mike?
good. I wore shorts down in Florida.
That's right, you're down in
Oh,
Florida. Where were you in
awesome.
Florida?
Florida.
First few days Tampa, and then last 2 days Ocala.
Nice.
All right, good area.
Visiting
Yeah.
family or just doing your own
Yep.
thing?
My brother lives in Tampa, and my grandparents live in Ocala.
That's right, I forgot Tyler was down there.
Yep.
Well, we're back live. We have mostly NFL to talk today. Quite a few topics. We are going to talk briefly about NBA. I forgot to send over to you guys, but it's Kyrie Irving. I think we all have enough to say about Kyrie Irving. So we're going to talk a little bit about Kyrie to kick things off here, and then we're going to get heavy into the NFL. Just some topics for you guys to let me start the recording here before we get going. There we go. How about the other one too that I forgot to start? Let's do that too. There we go. So we're going to talk heavy into the NFL. We're going to talk about Dwayne Haskins, a little bit overzealous with his first NFL win. We're going to talk about we're going to recap the New England-Dallas game and the Thanksgiving games. We're going to talk about Sean Payton still not being happy with the NFL changing the pass interference reviewable rules. Lamar Jackson's big Monday Night Football game. Josh Shaw getting suspended. Terrell Pryor getting stabbed. And Freddie Kitchens being Freddie Kitchens, basically. I mean, continuing in his
Maybe stay in the kitchen.
continuing in his downward spiral of NFL coach.
You can't take the heat. Get your ass out the kitchen.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go into a little different topic today. We're gonna talk 3 current players that each of us would like to start an NFL franchise with. So I think we're going to have some very varying players here on this list. But let's kick things off with the NBA. Briefly talk about Kyrie Irving. Obviously, we talked last week about him sitting out his return to Boston, whether or not he was injured or exaggerating the injury, what may have you. But needless to say, he sat out. Boston won. He was not in attendance. Boston plays Brooklyn the other night.
Yep.
In Brooklyn, he's in attendance. Kind of a warm welcome from a lot of the Boston players. However, Kyrie was not a big fan of the criticism that he received from Boston fans, even though he wasn't in attendance, and he took to Instagram to express that. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, he kind of rambled on. What
Yeah,
exactly does obtrusive mean, by the way? I would love to know.
Obtrusive?
Obtrusive, that's what he said
Obtrusive.
in that context. I understood what he was saying, but it just adds to the image, like a bad image this guy has, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get what he's saying, but it just doesn't fit in the moment.
What
This is bigger than sports. Okay, yeah, and that
Yeah.
connects to this how.
And what he
This
was
moment.
trying to say, I think, was that, first and foremost, NBA players are people, right? And he was kind of getting off the rails a little bit with that long-winded paragraph that he wrote on Instagram. But he was basically trying to say that basketball isn't his life, and he doesn't really care what people think about him or whatever.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I think he had a point, but it wasn't necessary in that spot, right? Because if you don't care, then you wouldn't write out something that lengthy about it.
And you weren't even in attendance, so you care because it bothered you enough to take to Instagram to write a 3-paragraph explanation of why you don't care.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you how much of a clown the guy is.
Yeah. Just make sure it's on because it doesn't sound right.
That's on.
I don't know. I'm in a bad sports mood today. So
I wonder why.
I'm tired of bums acting like victims. It's just.
Well, he's not a bum.
No, he's a bum. He's a bum of a human being. That's all. I don't care about how he plays basketball. If it's not your whole life, then good. Then okay, then you're a bum of a human being. How about that?
Well, this is
which is it?
This is the thing that he almost kind of is tiptoeing the line here of like saying things that Colin Kaepernick is saying and such, like basically saying like he's bigger than the game and he doesn't like he when I read it I almost got the vibe like he was saying he doesn't care about basketball and he doesn't like he'd be fine without it type of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, basketball has given you all these opportunities in the world. Like you're a kid that grew up in the projects of New York. Like you don't have anything without basketball, most likely. So would you really walk away from it because you're complaining about it on Instagram, but here you are, you're still playing it?
Yeah, let's get into other bum human beings. AB likes to say, "I'm never coming back. You all can suck it. I'm done with you. You need me." Blah blah. Next week's later, he's tap dancing, apologizing, and
yeah.
"Oh, please take me back." And he's right now working out with random dudes he finds in Home Depot parking lots to cover him so that he can put out videos. Shut up, stupid. You are nothing but the game. You are nothing, period. You are nothing but the game. Most of you don't have skills outside of sports. It's rare. It's rare. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's rare.
Well, their lives were predicated on becoming professional athletes, so they didn't develop those skills that a normal person would outside of
exactly
basketball or football, whatever it would be.
Kyrie dug himself in a hole with his stupid speech, and I hope you guys will keep me, and I'll blah, blah, blah. And then the fact that we're doing better without him. And then the fact that he was clearly a problem on the court. All these things were his doing. All directly related to him. And now he's like, I'm a human. It's like, listen, dude, what you're doing is you're showing your mental illness that we all guess you have. You're not able to look within. You're not able to look within in any capacity. You're just seeing everything as the world's against you. Same as AB, who we all know is out of his goddamn tree. So like, it's just annoying. And then your long-winded, stupid-ass response where like you kept almost making points, but then you're not making points. It's nonsense. It really is. Just take the L and move on, dude. Take the L and move on. Basketball is your life. Like, stop acting like it's not. There's nothing in the world you do more right now in your prime than basketball, whether it's practice or your diet or training or playing in games. Nothing in your life is more basketball than right now. Stop acting like it's not it.
When he got traded here, he was supposed to be the guy that take this team to the next level.
Exactly.
Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, whatever may happen there, so be it, against the Warriors. But he got hurt. It started off great. He got hurt. The team did well without him. Then he tried to get back in the flow of things and just cause chaos. And then you jettison. What do you expect the reaction going to be?
Exactly. And I think he's reacting to a reaction that he created, like Angel alluded to. He's the one that put himself in this predicament, right? If you were Kyrie Irving that came to the Boston Celtics and you weren't happy with your position in the Boston Celtics and you demanded a trade, okay, you get traded. But do the fans respond the same way? Because you came out and said, I want to play here. I want my number to be up in those rafters. I want to put another banner up. If you guys will have me, I'll stay. Those are all things he said. Those are all things that he put himself in this position with. When he said those things and then 6 months later backed out and said, I don't want to play here anymore. I don't like it here. He brought all these things that are happening now, all the boos, all the anger towards him, all the constant talk, and we're talking right now about it, and he brought it on.
And coming out of Cleveland, it looked like he wanted to be the leader away from somebody like LeBron on his case.
Yeah, exactly.
And he had that.
And then he went to the Celtics, and about halfway through the season, he started to get cucked, and I'm really sorry, LeBron, about how I was, and putting out bullshit posts about what seemed like he wanted to get back with LeBron while he was on the Celtics. That's when all the crap with him started, where people started to notice, like, what's up with this dude? Like, he's all over the place. So it's like, yeah, dude, you're just a psycho. You're just a nutcase. You need your meds, and that's fine.
And
whatever. Get on him. I don't know.
And this post on Instagram kind of makes me think that he's starting to feel that way towards Brooklyn already too, right? Because why would you say things like that? Like, I'm bigger than basketball. I don't need basketball. Like,
if he's the constant, he's the common denominator in problems, and this is, let's say Brooklyn is the third time around that he's semi a problem. it's not going to get solved by geographical therapy. Let's move here, move this, move that.
Exactly.
He's got a similar team in Brooklyn. They don't have as many young stars as the Celtics, but they have some young good players. And right now he's in the position where he has to kind of try to lift the team up. And the Brooklyn's been playing better without him.
Exactly. And
it's a small sample size. But
I was just going to get to that point. And I saw a graphic the other day, and it was teams without Kyrie Irving. They were like 85 and 40 something, whatever. Like they had a higher win percentage when he was injured or not playing than when he actually plays. So that tells you all you need to know about him. He doesn't make his team any better. And if you're not making your team better, and if you're not, like in the Celtics case, he came to this team knowing full well that they were young, up and coming stars that were going to want to shine as well. And he didn't make any of those guys better. He didn't make Jason Tatum better. Jason Tatum looked horrible when he played with Kyrie. He just looked a lot better this year. He didn't make Jaylen Brown look any better, and he's looked a lot better this year. Great hair Gordon didn't look any better with Kyrie, and obviously missed the entire season injured.
But that's because Kyrie's the center you play backyard basketball with who keeps trying to take the ball up. He doesn't understand his role.
Well, yeah.
That's what it is. Dude, you're not... Listen, you might take the last shot a couple times, but you're a point guard. Be a point guard.
This is the part where he says your point guard can't be your best player.
I don't need to keep saying it because it's just fact, dude. You're
Magic
a point
Johnson.
guard. Be a point
Iverson.
guard. Dude. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. He can, or a point guard can, but they have to be.
Okay, now name 3 people that aren't the best to ever play the game. Go.
Yeah, no. Well,
like
Steph Curry. I mean, you can be the best player on the team and still be productive and helping guys get better on your team, right? Steph Curry makes guys in his team better, right?
Your team game plan needs to be predicated along those lines. Brad Stevens doesn't coach a team that goes, "Hey, point guard, take 40 shots."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's the point I'm making. He coaches
I agree with your
basketball
point.
Team.
Yeah, I agree with your point. Not arguing your point at all, but I just think the Kyrie drama that he is now reacting to was brought about by himself. He created this narrative, and Marcus Smart seemed to be a little aggravated with it, and they interviewed him after the game, and he said, why do reporters and everyone else keep talking about Kyrie? He's not a Boston Celtic anymore. Like, we'll talk about the players that are on this team, and even the fans want to keep talking about Kyrie Irving, but he's not a Celtic anymore. And Marcus Smart said it's kind of disrespectful to the team because
I like him.
Why are we still talking about a guy that's not on this team anymore?
And Smart's defended Kyrie, I think, most vocally of anybody on the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the past, over the summertime.
And you know what's great about what he said? It was neutral. So if he's boys with Kyrie, he didn't say anything that's upsetting to Kyrie.
Yeah, no, of course.
He's like, dude, why do we keep talking? Dude, he doesn't play with us anymore. What are we doing here?
But that's part of what I've said in the past. He can say something bad about Kyrie. Does that mean Kyrie can't take your friend? If I'm your friend, I can't say something that's like, hey, I noticed that.
No, you're right. But like, as we've seen these players either have to A, walk on eggshells, or B, completely be just irreverent in what they say. Otherwise they get flack.
Now, granted, they have a media platform, and we could say it without using the media to say it, right?
Yeah,
we called out in the media, so so maybe they have done that in behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's an awesome way for him to put it, and I like it. Honestly, I get most worked up when we talk about people that have platforms they shouldn't have. Like, I don't like making idiots more famous or talking about them more and more. Like, but I realize the necessity of it for sure. But what I'm saying is I get what like Smart's probably aggravated because he's like, dude, we're playing well. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how we're playing good? Like, why is it that why is it that we can't focus on what we're doing right? Like, that's the kind of thing that would if you weren't a mentally strong team, you might want to implode for, because it's like, dude, this is annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna put a graphic up on the screen here, and this pretty much sums up what Kyrie is, right? He's immature, like just crybaby, doesn't get his way. I mean, the guy is. I don't know how else to explain it. Like you can't make this guy happy. I want to go back home. I want to play where I'm from. Go back to Brooklyn.
And that's all internal stuff.
And here he is, just continuing to be Kyrie.
Honestly, he's being 100% mirrored a mirrored version of AB without the ghetto-ness. That's really it. He's just being
Yeah,
less ghetto
it just
about
hasn't
it.
got that far
He's just
yet.
being less ghetto about it. That's really all it is. He's doing the same thing.
Give it a few years.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as just from a distance. I don't think he's as disturbed as AB.
No,
I think
yeah,
he
that's
thinks
what I'm
he's a
saying.
smart guy. I think he thinks he's a thoughtful
Yeah.
guy, but he's missing the
Yeah.
bigger picture. I think.
And
with a
let's
lot of
and let's
things. I
all
don't-
just remember that Kyrie Irving,
Mike can't
I'm pretty
see
sure,
this
is a
because he's
flat
over
earther.
there. But
So.
this is what I put up on the screen.
Yeah, let's all
I
not
love
forget that
these.
Kyrie Irving was a flat earther too.
Did you
so,
see the?
yeah.
Did you see
Exactly. That's why this meme fits
Yeah.
perfectly with Kyrie. I'm gonna tell my kids it's Kyrie.
Did you see the Ezekiel Elliott one?
Oh, with the Ewok.
Ewok.
Yeah, I did. Yes, they're all
Felipe,
pretty good.
there's the Dan Marino.
I shared one. It was the Waterboy head coach. I said I'm gonna tell my kids
Jason
this
Garrett.
is Jason Garrett.
That's a good one.
Henry Finkel.
But
Yeah.
let's transition over to the NFL.
Oh my goodness!
What?
Blast from the past in the chat. We got Tommy Arujo commenting.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Tom? How you doing, man?
For those of you that are watching on Facebook, we are trying something new this week. So if you're wondering why the show is live from my personal page, not the show page, we are trying a Restream.io website, which will put our podcast on 4 different platforms live all at the same time. So if you have YouTube, what is the special YouTube account that you don't like? You pay for? It's like $1, $3 a month.
Is
or
it
something.
Red? No.
No.
YouTube Red? No, that's the
YouTube
stream.
TV?
That's
You-
the
No,
streaming.
it's just like the YouTube without commercials, basically. You could just pay for it. I forget. Anyway, we're on YouTube, so if you have that service, you can now watch us on YouTube Live and not have to keep your phone up and active because YouTube allows you to close out of things
Yeah.
and still listen. So give that a shot. Let us know how it's working out. We're on a trial today with that. So if it works, we'll continue to do it. But let's transition over
Wow,
to
that
the
caught me off guard.
let's transition over to the NFL and talk about another guy who maybe some of us will consider a little immature here for this move. But
Yeah. But it was innocently immature.
Dwayne Haskins, he leads 2 game-winning, essentially scoring drives down the end of the game. He goes down. I mean, 2 field goals, but ultimately won the game for his team. Put them in a position to kick game-winning field goal. They do that, and he's on the sideline, excited as hell. Doesn't realize that the offense is going to have to go out there to kneel the game out, and he's taking a selfie on the sideline with a fan, and the coach Callahan is looking for him. Like, where is this guy? So they throw Case Keenum out there to kneel the game out.
I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. It didn't infringe upon anything.
So-
Anybody could have taken a knee.
Here's my issue. Is there a third QB on this roster?
Usually not, right? They don't usually carry 3
A lot of
QBs.
teams do, yeah.
So
Maybe
two
on the practice
practice
squad,
Yeah,
if
prac-
nothing else.
practice
Yeah.
squad, but not on the active 53 man.
So
right?
2 things here.
Yeah,
I
that's-
don't condone what he did. He needs to be a little smarter going forward. But he's very young and he was excited. This is the kind of
Exactly.
thing. If you're gonna make
That's what I'm
bonehead decisions out of lightheartedness and innocence, that's different than bonehead decisions out of maliciousness.
Mhm.
He also made a fan's life. I mean, that fan's never gonna forget that.
Right?
My second problem was that they threw Case Keenum out there. If I'm Case Keenum, I'm pissed. I was the starting quarterback. I'm a veteran. Do not put me out there and kneel this once because the kid forgot what he was doing. If you have a third QB on the roster, throw him out there. Or a running back. But I wouldn't have put Case. It's one of those things that's more, sometimes there's things in sports that are more like, I don't know how to put it, but more man-to-man than they are letter of rule. And a man-to-man thing, you shouldn't have done that with Case. You shouldn't have been like, hey, dude, we benched you. Go and kneel this out. You haven't played all game. I don't like that. But you know what, dude? If this is what if this is the dumb stuff that young players are doing from here on out, I'll take it over the other dumb stuff we see him doing.
He got ripped by Joe Theismann for this.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
Theismann.
guys read about that,
Dude,
but
Theismann, fix your leg. Shut up.
Theismann was on like a local Redskins radio or whatever, and he said that he couldn't believe what Dwayne Haskins did and that it was extremely immature and unprofessional. And-
You know, yeah, it was both of those things, but it's not. But you can say that in a way that's not like a prick, like
Yeah.
Theismann.
Theismann's thought was you celebrate with your team first, and then after that, you do whatever you want to do.
Well,
But-
I mean, if that's the case, we're talking about the team that was literally just backs to him a week ago when he was trying to be a part of that team.
What did the coach say? I don't care what Joe Theismann said. What did the coach say?
I don't know. Actually, I didn't.
That's all I care
didn't
about.
see any comments on the coach. I mean, I don't think the
'Cause-
coach was that worried about it because they
It-
called
he
him.
He
that-
said
it-
we'll address it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
He'll
wasn't
probably
a big deal. So
he'll probably just go up to him in his locker and be like, "Hey, man, listen, great game. Just be more.
Wait till
pay
the game's
attention.
over next
Pay
time.
attention next time. That's all." The coach was probably just as the coach was probably thrilled that the young player got his first win.
I'm okay with it because one of two things: not kneeling out that game isn't gonna
doesn't
cost
change
them the
anything.
game.
That's what I said. Didn't infringe
It's
on
not
anything.
going to cost them
Nothing.
the game, right? You could put anyone out there to kneel the game out. Second of all, as we talked last week, this guy wasn't wanted here. You know what I mean? He wasn't wanted here. He's had a real rough start to his career. He's been pretty bad overall. Even in this game, he was pretty bad. I mean, he was like 9 of 16, 150 yards and an interception. He didn't throw a touchdown.
Yeah.
The guy gets down the field, puts him in a position to win. They win the game. He's excited. It's his first NFL win. I mean, what is the kid's played 1 year of college football? What is he? 21?
Yeah, and
20?
we forget that because he's a giant of a man who, if he stood next to us, we would be like, wow. But like, he's much younger than all of us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just because he's humongous, we can't just be like forgetting that. You know? and again, if this is the boneheaded shit that these young players are gonna do, I'll take that. I'll take
Exactly.
that all day, dude. Over hitting a chick because you're too stupid and you're too wrapped up in a weird like in your own hype or a culture that makes you think you're bigger than something, or because you're just delusional or just stupid crap like that. Like I'll take this all day.
Agreed. Let's do you guys want to recap the Cowboys stuff now?
Let's please do
Let's
it.
do it.
Let's do it right now.
The Patriots and Bills
I feel
games,
like
please.
I feel like he needs to get this.
Let's
off his
recap it
chest.
right now.
Man, you guys already taken 2 L's this week.
Tom's a Cowboys
In 1
fan.
3
week.
days.
Hey, in 1 week, 2 L's, 1 week.
Tom's a lifelong Cowboys fan. He'll want to hear this, I'm sure.
So we talked Patriots Cowboys last week on the show. We unanimously picked the Patriots to win the game.
Yeah.
Came of no surprise that the Pats won. However, it did come of a surprise that
It
the
was
manner
close.
in which they won and the fact that the Cowboys really were in a position to win that game without some bad coaching and some bad officiating. Nonetheless, they lost, and I mean it's no excuse. I'm not Sean Payton here trying to create rules to, justify.
Don't
us.
throw Sean Payton under the bus. He was absolutely justified in as
No,
mad as he was.
he was, but
oh
he's
my
still
goodness.
bitching. But anyway, let's start with the 2 phantom tripping calls that were called on the Cowboys.
And for anyone, and let's put it in context here. For anyone who's not much of a diehard watch sports as much as we do type guys, tripping is something that's not called in the NFL.
Not normally.
Were there 7 calls all year?
Yeah,
Was that the
it's-
exact number? 7 before this game? Before
Yeah,
and
so 9 now?
and 2 in 1 game.
And 2
both
of them,
wrong.
Both on the same team.
2 of them came against us. Who, depending on who you ask, it's the best O-line in football. I disagree
I don't
sometimes,
think so.
but okay. So best O-line in football, depending on who you ask. We have the best tackle and the best center of, I'd say, their decade of football. Well, they haven't played a decade yet, but of their when it's all said and done, their decade, they were the best at their positions, I'd say. And they're just randomly throwing legs up, something they've never done before in their 8 years.
The first one that was called was on Tyron Smith.
Which the guy dove at his
They were
leg.
both on.
He looked like he lost his footing because he got blocked in the back, and then he torpedoed towards, which isn't dirty. You lost your footing and you were heading that way, and he torpedoed toward Tyron's leg because he got pushed down. And I guess throwing your body at a leg is tripping.
Correct
I
me
don't
if
know.
I'm wrong, Mike. I think both of them were on Donta Hightower.
They might.
I know one of them for sure.
Yeah.
The last one was Hightower.
Yeah, the first one was too. So Hightower is coming in, loses his footing. Clear as day, loses his footing. Tyron Smith never even moves his legs. He just sidesteps essentially to let the guy fall so that he can pin him to the ground.
Yeah.
And that one's called a tripping, which negates a 3rd and 15 conversion. And I'm like,
I thought that was the worst call of the 2. I'm not saying they weren't both bad. I think they were both wrong, but I could see an interpretation on
But,
the second
that
one.
led to a punt.
Yeah.
And then the second one was a 3rd and 1 conversion. on a essentially a game tying drive, right?
A game-winning
Or
drive.
winning.
Game winning drive.
It
'cause
would, I mean, if they got
If we
it.
got a
I don't think
2-point,
they would have,
yeah.
but
a potential game winning drive. I don't think they were going to get that either
I
because
don't not.
just the way
No.
that they were moving the ball, they did not look productive.
No.
But
and
but
they
but
didn't
that's
look
but
good.
that's neither here nor there.
No,
That's
it
not-
isn't.
No.
It really isn't.
But
no.
but the fact of the matter was they made a conversion and it was called back on a late flag for tripping, and a further review showed again that and this was on Frederick, right?
On Frederick.
So Frederick is taking a bull rush and he
It was
steps.
actually no. It was a Frederick Zach Martin combo block.
Oh yeah, that's right. The guy shot the gap. That's
He
what it
shot the
was.
gap. They both caught him. Frederick was clearly less to the point than
Yes.
he didn't get to the point as quick as Mark.
He had to open his legs.
So
essentially,
he
to-
so he outstepped
yeah,
and opened his hips with his foot on the ground,
yeah.
and they pinched correctly to stop this rush, and that was a tripping call.
Yeah, and that negated a 3rd-and-1 conversion as well.
So-
and then that led to a 4th and 6 or whatever it was.
Did they complete
or
the
4th
third
and
down?
11,
It was
whatever
3rd and
was.
11, but did they get some yards and then the fourth?
No,
No, they
Incomplete.
threw the play to Cooper where they dived in-
incomplete on
incompletion,
3rd down, and then 4th down was the Cooper
which
diving.
they called the catch, and then
yeah, they called the
I
catch.
mean,
and,
it clearly wasn't.
I
but
mean,
he,
But we couldn't see on TV until they showed us.
it-
we only saw
it's
his
kind
back.
of-
You know,
just- yeah,
so I
just
was
pointing
like,
out the
yeah,
fact.
yeah,
I mean, it's actually kind of debatable whether it was a catch or not because, like, there was other people that aren't Cowboys fans debating this online, and I was reading it, and people were saying that's a catch, it's not a catch, and then someone posted the actual rule, and I read it, and based on the rule, it's actually a catch, but they never call it that way, which is the
we
thing.
think of rules as black and white. It's either this or it's that, but they're really not. They're really interpretable,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
we can sit there
which,
and interpret. I can make a case for every call, including the tripping.
Within the
If-
rule,
even
it
though I
tells you-
disagree with the call.
Within the rule, I believe it tells them that the ground can't help assist you in making a catch.
Right, but we can both watch that, and you
Which
can say
it
it
didn't.
did, and somebody else can say it didn't.
Yes,
that's what I
yes,
mean.
it is. It is.
You can interpret it.
Yes,
All right,
even
I'm
though
gonna
it's a
go out-
rule.
I'm going to go out and say that wasn't a catch.
it's subjective. For
I
sure.
don't think it was a catch, but I could see somebody else saying it was.
But if the rule states that the ground can't assist you in making the catch, then you'd have to assume that is a catch because he made the catch with his hands, and then the ball popped out when it hit the ground, but the ground didn't help him make the catch.
if his hands were still on the ball, right? Like you can catch it, but your
The
hands
ground,
are secure.
if anything, the ground caused the ball to pop out, which wouldn't assist in the catch. But
the problem with
But you
it,
gotta
the
complete
problem
the
with it,
catch.
the
I
problem
didn't
with
think
it
it was
here-
a catch. I didn't think it was a
No,
catch,
me
and I
neither.
still don't think it's a
Me
catch.
neither.
But
So put it in perspective for the people who think it was a catch. The problem with it here is that it was a dive. So with it being a dive, there is no way to interpret any for a move or anything like that. So when you dive for a ball, even though it's hard with your landing directly on it and the impact, it's harder to make that catch. You don't have as much rule to protect you because once the ball comes in, that is not a catch yet, because your feet aren't firmly planted on the ground. Then you hit the ground and the ball loosens. That's the big problem there. So like you're not protected by the rule in that sense because so like if he were to catch it with his feet on the ground, if he caught it with his feet on the ground and then fell to the ground and the ball popped out, that would be a catch. That
If
would
he
be a
still
catch.
had he's secure hands.
But
on the
because
ball.
his first time touching the ground was the ball moving, that's the big issue. If he caught it, if he did what James, the tight end for the Steelers, did like 2 years ago
on the goal line,
on the goal line, that was a catch. Even
That
when they said it
that
wasn't,
was
it
a
was.
catch.
it was not
nonsensical.
ruled a catch though.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
overturned. That was a
yeah.
touchdown.
And then
That
they
was a
changed,
catch.
and then they changed the catch rule.
that
But-
wasn't just a catch. That was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that the problem was he was airborne. Had it not been an airborne catch, it's a different story. And then another thing, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, here we go. You know, two penalties don't affect the game." But it's like, listen, a guy who never got picked in gym class. Let me explain to you how momentum works. Momentum is the most important thing in any team sport. Period. Whether or not I don't need you to believe that 2 plays affect the game. But what you need to believe is fact, because it is fact, is no team or fan base deserves to have to do shit twice, 3 times, 4 times, because someone not in the play is making mistakes. Period.
Yeah,
We shouldn't have to get another first down because we got it.
there
We
are
shouldn't have to do anything extra because we did it.
there are incidents in the game that you can say caused the outcome of the game, right? The Saints Rams call last year that
Saints Bucks call this year.
caused the outcome of the game. I mean, the Saints were in a position to win the game.
Anyone who knows anything about play call knows that
And
a lot
instead,
of
it was
coaches,
a turnover on downs.
anyone who knows anything about play call knows that most coaches lean the way of Jason Garrett, and although not as aggressive as him, they lean the way of once things start to go bad in a game plan shifts. Most coaches fall that way. So let's go back to the Saints Bucks game, where they clearly returned a touchdown on the ground. Cam Jordan did.
I don't remember this.
It was a
Early
fumble.
season this year.
Cam Jordan picked it up, returned it. They called it dead halfway down.
Oh, yeah.
That was the Rams.
And that
Against
destroyed.
the Rams.
Was it against the Rams?
Week 2.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
And they lost.
It was
Rams
Saints
won.
Rams again. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and they
was.
lost.
Rams won.
And they lost. Now, again, if you know anything about how play calling works, and you're not just a couch potato, you realize that happening then changed everything Peyton had to do going forward.
You claim to know about play
I know.
calling, and you're a
and
couch potato.
that's what I'm
so-
saying. You could be both right there.
but I could also go outside with anyone right now and be like, okay, what do you need to know? I'll show you what you're confused about. It's not that hard to understand. Had they got that touchdown on defense, now that opens up your offensive play call. That opens up things you can do. It keeps you from being conservative, which puts you in a deeper hole. So 1-2 plays in games, they matter. They matter in 17-game seasons.
They
They're not 72
matter, but
seasons.
they're not the whole story. Like I remember last year, even with that egregious call against
the Saints.
the Saints.
Well,
I remember
non-call.
the drive before, or two drives before, where Goff got face masked at the goal line on 3rd and goal. Didn't call it. I mean, he literally got face masked. They kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
You took 4 points off the board.
And
So I don't feel as bad for the Saints
Yeah.
because I know they got robbed on the other end.
And the argument is Drew Brees threw an interception in overtime, so they were
Yeah.
still in a
Fact.
position to
Right,
win the game.
right.
but-
And you still had to make a kick.
And that's fine. But at that point, now what you're doing is your argument changing. Because, as I said, I don't have to do it twice. I did it once. If I win a marathon, but you don't like the way I won the marathon, I got to run it again? No, I won. Period. Why do I have to score again? Why do I have to do this again? You were wrong. I was right.
Yeah, no,
That's the point I'm making. That's what I
Oh,
hate.
it's definitely a bad call.
So when
but-
to your point of the face mask not being called, I'm cool with that negate, that whap, fine. But when people go, well, no complaint, you threw a pick in overtime anyway. Should have never made it to overtime. One way or the other, it should have never made it to
Well,
overtime.
I'm
so
not
that's
saying
the
it
point.
negates it. I'm just saying, like, when we say something caused the outcome, then we have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
look at,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
there was a series of things that
So,
got it there.
What I'm saying is to agree with you is I like if it's tit for tat, like, hey, they blew a call in, now they blow a call. Okay, cool, fine, we'll cancel that out. I'm all for that. But when the people were saying stuff like he threw a pick in overtime anyways, it's like that was extra game, dude. Yeah, if I take Tom Brady and I make him play 8 quarters, he's probably going to play worse than he played in 4. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
That's stupid.
And these 2 calls in the Cowboys game,
Because a lot of people were making that argument.
They,
after that
they
game.
were drive killers.
Yeah.
So they
That's the thing.
did affect the game. Whether you want to say that they affect the outcome of the game, that's another
No
story.
way to know.
But they affected the
Right,
outcome of that drive.
Because
which-
anything could have happened.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, could
We
could have fumbled on the next play.
Yeah,
We could have
could've
fumbled on the
they
next
could've
play.
thrown a
I don't
pick.
think
Anything could
Dallas-
happen, but it increases the likelihood of them moving forward down the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Essentially, not getting that or getting that second tripping call negated a real opportunity for Dallas. But
And that-
I mean, if Cooper makes that catch, then we're back in
Yeah.
that position.
No,
but,
you're right,
but
you're right.
It made it a difficult
Yeah.
play.
But then again, that turns into because if Jared knows this about me. I've always been the guy to stand up for the person that makes the mistake after the egregious bad penalty. I've always been that, and to stand up for Cooper, he shouldn't have had to made a catch of a lifetime. It was amazing. It would have been an amazing grab. He shouldn't have had to do it
I'm
because we
not-
wouldn't have threw that pass if we made the first catch. We would have ran
You're
the
right,
ball.
right. It
That's-
just changes
so,
the
yeah,
circumstances.
exactly. Yeah.
Cooper ended the game with 0 catches for 0 yards, 0 touchdowns. I wasn't upset with Cooper whatsoever because there's a few reasons. You can't expect anyone to make that catch in the rain, diving across the middle of the, I mean, there's so many
Very tough
variables
play.
going there.
Very tough.
So
Good throw.
It's a
but very
play.
tough
It's a
play.
play he could make.
He could.
Maybe 4 or 5 out of 10 times if you kept throwing it to him,
Yeah.
he might have made it. A
might
lot of
have,
good
yeah.
receivers.
Second
could have,
of
but
all,
he didn't that
he's
time.
playing against the guy that's probably the number 1 corner in the league this year, and
Yep.
Stephon Gilmore. The guy's an absolute stud. He shut him down. It is
He
what
shut
it
down
is.
a lot of people.
You know, the weather was in his favor. Your routes couldn't be run in the rain like that. Cooper is a great route runner. That's what he relies on for getting open. He couldn't get open. He's playing against a great corner in bad weather. The advantage is to the corner.
Yeah, that's another thing
That's
to
happening to
people
Cooper
who
a
don't
lot.
really understand. The corner has the advantage in bad weather. Corner starts planted, feet shoulder width apart. Heels on the ground. It's completely. It's so and the corner and the receiver. The corner doesn't have to cut as hard as the receiver if the corner is in position at the start of the play to react to the ball as opposed to react to the receiver.
Well, now
so the receiver's always at a disadvantage in bad weather to the corner.
Well, now
always.
that action reaction thing is now shortened because that guy is going to take longer to do what he has to do than he would in dry weather.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where you can say what you want about Cooper. The guy has had a great season thus far. He got shut out. It happens. It happens to the best of receivers.
He'll go over 1,000 yards for the fifth time in his career next game.
And to be shut out by Stephon Gilmore, it's nothing to bat an eye.
He had a bad week the week before. Too or no?
3 catches for like 30 yards or 30
a little bit.
Yeah.
But something no one else is talking about, even though Cooper got flack for this game too. He had 80 yards in this game, and he was beating Tre'Davious White, who's a league best.
Yeah.
Who's one of the league best corners. No one wants to talk about that though.
This game just wasn't set up for the Cowboys to win it, and a lot of reason why I picked the Pats. I feel like the Pats are the better team. They have the better record. They're the better coach. They're home.
Yeah.
They have a great home record.
And they make the plays in clutch moments. Their last drive,
And as we've talked endlessly, this team plays situational football. They know how to play in the rain. They know how to protect the ball. We saw them 0 turnovers, right? 0 turnovers in the rain. That's not something you'd see from 31 other football teams. Right, the Cowboys are fumbling everywhere. Special teams. Zeke fumbled. Luckily, picked his own fumble off.
We fumbled like 3 times on offense alone.
Yeah, and they were luckily only one of them I think was a turnover. But
because of the weather, I would have been surprised if anybody scored 20 points.
Exactly.
I had a feeling it was going to be low scoring, where Brady actually plays better in the snow than the rain.
Yeah,
so I had that feeling it was going to be low scoring.
How many times are you going to have your returners at the goal line when the ball lands at the 15?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
15 yards. Every time the field position was terrible because of this. Over and over. Yeah. That's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result every time.
Not to mention we didn't adjust the blocking scheme. So typically, for people that don't know, on special teams, what happens is the front few lines on kickoff slowly they turn and run. They don't turn and block. They turn and run. They get back, they set themselves, turn, and then reset and move upfield once the ball is caught. With them purposely trying to basically get long onside kicks every time, which was smart, what we should have done with our front line is had them attack block immediately. On the kick, hit the first person you see in front of you to stop them from getting downfield so fast in case of a muff, which we had. Luckily, we kept getting on the ball, but we didn't adjust our blocking scheme. We didn't adjust where our guy lined up, as Mike just said.
And that brings us right into the next topic off the Cowboys topic that we were talking about, bad coaching, right? This team has had a history of bad coaching over the last 9-10 years in Jason Garrett's tenure, and there's no accountability for that bad coaching, and there's no adjustments in game for that bad coaching. And when you play a team like the New England Patriots with a quarterback and a coach who have been together for 20 plus years doing this successfully, you can't make those mistakes. You have to match that coaching and that play that they bring in order to beat them. And that's the only way that you can do it. And that's why you've only seen a select few coaches, Andy Reid, Harbaugh, give the Patriots a hard time, because they're good coaches that know how to match that.
And the point you're making is why I hate the refs so much more, because it's like, listen, this is already a game where you're asking someone to do something they're not in Jason Garrett. Why are you making it harder by being bad?
Yeah, it's like that.
Why are you making it hard by being bad at your job?
Would you fight Mike Tyson to fight Urkel?
Yeah. Like the fact of the matter is, most coaches aren't as good as Bill Belichick. And when the game comes down to coaching, which this game did because of the weather,
without a doubt, you
can't add extra monkey wrenches in the mix. You can't. You got to let the game play out a little bit. If you were here watching it, Mike, you were here for that game.
I was.
I wasn't saying they were holding us. I wasn't saying we got interfered with. I wasn't saying the flags other than the trippings were egregious. I was trashing my team the entire time, and I'm someone who talks about the Pats constantly if the Pats are going to play my team or something like that. Like I wasn't talking shit about the Pats at all. I was watching them play and being like, we're playing like shit. And then in regular fashion, I have to be pulled over to the tinfoil hat of talking shit about the pads because it just has to happen again and again and again. It's nonsensical. I can't stand
the thing that I don't get about the 2 tripping calls, right, is if you got
That
them
they were
wrong,
called?
if you got them wrong on the field, right? Clearly, you got them wrong on the field. But why the need to come out in the news later and say, those shouldn't have been called? Yeah, we know that. We saw the replay.
Hey.
Why do you need to come out and tell us that?
Right?
Right?
Take some
Like,
accountability.
That's about the
It's a good
second. I
thing.
think that's the second or third time.
I feel like
Feels
it's not in
aggravating.
good faith. It's like it's almost
Well,
like
there's no-
ha, like
that's about
that
the,
happened.
That's
Suck it
a-
up.
Oh,
That's,
Deal
you're
with it.
cynical, boy.
that's
Wow.
that's about
Live
the
in a
second or
different
third
world than I
time
do.
that's been reported this year after a Cowboys loss. Where a penalty that was big on a drive that killed us was reported to have not should have been
Yeah,
called.
I'm not gonna
Second or third time.
I'm not going to go down that road because it's one of those things where you can start blaming that on losses, and that's not the case. This team
listen,
lost 6 games
we
because
need
they're
to
not a good team.
Six
No, we
games.
need to coach better. But why am I, as a fan, punished because my owner wants to suck, and I'm losing the chance to see more wins because you officiate bad? It's not my fault. Officiate right, and let me lose based on my coach and my team.
I just
Let
feel
my
like-
team lose that way. Why do you have to blow it for me?
I
don't
feel
get
like
it.
if you throw a flag for tripping, it should be obvious, right? Like it shouldn't
Dude,
be.
you better be kicking him in the mouth with your cleat if you're throwing a flag for
it
tripping.
shouldn't be
Like,
one of those like, oh, he lifted his leg and moved it. That's way too in depth to
it's-
see in the moment.
It's interpretation.
So unless
Never
you
gonna
see
change.
a leg extension or a leg lift, then that shouldn't be called. I mean,
Never gonna change.
there's a lot going on in that offensive line and those big bodies moving around and
Yeah,
guys
there is.
blitzing gaps, and you're not gonna be able to decipher if he's moving his leg to adjust his blocking pattern or if he's trying to trip the guy.
Right.
And
well, it's real simple. Is his leg off the ground away from his body? No, it's
Yeah.
not a trip.
exactly.
Is his foot on the floor? Then it's not a trip.
Yeah, I mean the Tyron Smith one, he literally didn't move his legs.
I know. No, that was the worst
Tyron
call
Smith
of the two.
Tyron Smith almost lost an ACL and lost us a first down. I'm like, oh wow, this guy's having a rough day. This is ridiculous.
Hightower literally Superman dived the gap and they called it a trip, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's move on from that one. And
Yeah,
then
this is like-
That was by far the worst call.
As I
of
was
the
saying
two.
about as I said last week about like crap NBA penalties, and I said to Jared during the game, I'm like, dude, that's literally like when you're at the 3-point line, Gordon Harden, and he just slams his arms into your arms that are up, and they call that a penalty. Like,
Yeah.
how is that okay? Like,
I hate it.
the bad coaching continued throughout the Cowboys Pats game, and it continued into the Bills game as well. And in the
It was worse in the Bills game.
in the
It was worse
Cowboys
than the Bills
in the
game.
Cowboys Pats game, the Cowboys had scored essentially nothing all game. They did nothing. They get in themselves finally on a 60-yard pass to Randall Cobb. They get themselves into the red zone, and then they stall like they have all season.
I also want to trash Randall Cobb for getting caught by Devin McCourty from behind in a straight line race. In a straight line race,
He's an old man.
a safety. He's younger than McCourty.
Yeah,
Is
he's
he?
younger.
Oh, he was.
McCourty's 32?
He feels like an old
McCourty's
man.
31, 32.
McCourty get
I was
drafted in 09.
I was just
Feels
happy
like an
that
old man.
Cobb didn't fumble, which he actually
did
fumble.
fumble.
And then
you
he
know he
didn't
did
lose the
fumble. He
fumble.
just caught it. So not only did you get caught by McCourty, but he's a safety and he's older than you. No, those are two things that don't add up to me at all. It was a straight line race and he caught you from behind. You're an idiot. I hate you.
So they get into the red zone. They have an opportunity to finally put some points on the board, put themselves in a position to tie the game.
They did put some points on the board.
And that's where
Oh,
we're
is
going with
this-
this. That's where we're going with this. So it's fourth down. It's fourth down. You have to score a touchdown to win the game. Regardless of when you
Yes,
want to do it,
yes,
you have to
facts.
score a touchdown to win the
Yeah,
game.
yes.
And Jason Garrett decides, I'm going to kick the field goal now. For the first time I've been in the red zone all game, I'm going to kick the field goal now.
Oh.
And then hope that my team can get a stop and have enough time to get the ball back and get back into the red zone that I haven't been in all game.
Yeah, they did get the ball back and did have a chance. However, the chances of them getting downfield and getting that touchdown in the last 2 minutes in Foxborough was, to me, was
In
not
that
going to
weather,
happen. Was not going to happen.
And this is the part that drives me absolutely insane is after a awful decision like that, Jerry Jones still says, I'm not going to get rid of Jason Garrett right now. And I'm thinking to myself, this was your opportunity. This was your out.
Or after
You
the
just did the most idiotic thing you could possibly do. You took a field goal when you needed a touchdown. You took a field goal that was literally useless to you. Literally. I mean, without the touchdown, what does that feel
they
goal
would have
do?
won the game instead of tied. But yes, they needed a touchdown.
Yeah. So you have an out there to get rid of a coach who's been bad for 10 years, who has a 500 record essentially over his tenure when he's had 13-3 seasons. And you give him another pass onto the Bills game. And we get to the Bills game. And the bad coaching continues. This guy decides to kick a field goal on 4th down in the red zone against the Patriots when you need a touchdown. But on 4th and 1 from his own 20 against the Bills, decides, let's go for it.
Didn't you know at that moment that, I mean, I know they're up 7-0 and got the first down. You might think they're going to win the game or whatever at that point, but didn't you feel like, wow, the pressure's on this guy? Like he feels it if he's going for it.
Absolutely.
He's hearing this stuff and he's...
Absolutely.
Because what's the risk reward of getting a 4th and 1 at your own 19-yard line? Not much. It's high risk, low reward.
The Cowboys, since they drafted Dak and Zeke, have been built to be the best short yardage team in football. And for a year and a half, they were. And then that went away. We should be going on for it every 4th down under a yard. That's what our team's built to do. And we almost never do it. We used to do it quite a bit.
Well, I would say that across midfield at least, or down at the 45. But at your own 19,
I'll tell you what. I agree with you.
You're giving them points if you don't get it. You're literally handing them points.
I get that. I get that. I agree with you.
And it wasn't even a point where you needed the first
nothing.
down.
It didn't mean nothing. They didn't get it. I was like, oh, they're going to win now. He's showing them.
Yeah,
no,
I get that.
Like,
I get that.
Right.
That's why it's such a bad coaching decision.
He barely got it. He barely got the first down.
It's a bad coaching decision because you can't just all of a sudden start being erratic because you suck. But at the same time, football, this is how your team's supposed to be coached. Whether it plays like this or not, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to be coached this way. We're going out there, we're going to tell them what we're doing, and we're going to convert it because we're going to be better than them. That's how you're supposed to coach your team. I'll run out there, tell them what I'm doing, and we're going to still do our job, and we'll get it. We should be able to go for it 4th and inches, touching our own goal line. With our O-line, with our linebackers, with our 240-pound quarterback, with our tight ends we have, we should be able to do that anytime we want. And the fact that we don't is disgusting. And now this dude all of a sudden wants to do it, but in a really weird spot to flex. Like, I'm going to flex here on the 20.
That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like that. And I'm not a Cowboys fan, obviously, but that didn't seem like it was let's inspire confidence. Let's do it. It just felt like this is an odd thing to do right now.
My problem with it is when he did it. He's just not where, when. He wants to do it now that he's trashing. I'm fine with when, because like I said, it's risky and it's crazy, but like I said, the Cowboys are built to be better than any team at this situation. We should be talking shit, being like, we'll go for it right now and we do not care. And we should do it. And if we had that mentality, we would have never gotten into the hole we are as a team in coaching.
Yeah, but that's not this guy.
No, it's not this guy.
Every time he does stuff like this, you're like, wow. Like when he threw the flag around that day, when he was challenged, we were here, I'm like, this is not this guy. He's the wrong time.
He's gutless. And then when Jerry Jones came out after the Pats game and made the comments that he made, saying, he said, I shouldn't be this frustrated with a team that's this good, right? And he said, you don't have to come in first place every year. You can have a great season coming in 4th or 5th, but in this case, you have to come in first. That was, to me, Jerry Jones telling Jason Garrett, if you don't win a Super Bowl this season, you're out.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at every team.
Because I told you that wasn't the case.
And then here we are in the Bills game, and you're in a home game on a short week, and a must-win game essentially to prove that you can lead this team, and they come out with another dud, not even a touchdown again.
Oh, they got a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, opening drive. Opening drive, they scored a touchdown with Jason Witten. That was their only point. 7 set.
Yeah, they kicked a bunch
of
field.
They scored a scrub touchdown with like a minute left
with
in the
a
game.
practice squad receiver.
Yeah. I mean, this is.
And he celebrated.
This was.
He did, didn't he?
He might never get back in. So I'm
this was a game that he walked out. Jason Garrett walked out of unscathed again when he should have been axed.
He's not getting it this year.
But instead,
our
70-something-year-old coach owner is crying instead of dude, what are you crying about?
Immediately after that game, Jerry Jones should have fired Jason Garrett and named Rashad the interim, and said,
light a spot,
and said, I can understand losing to the Patriots in Foxborough in a close game in the rain, but what I saw today from you guys at home with the Buffalo Bills, unacceptable.
Yeah, but Jets game. Bad starts against the Giants. They've been a sluggish team. They're an average team.
We sat in those stands and we watched the beginning.
There
of
is
that
nothing
Dolphins.
more average than the Dallas Cowboys, right? Nothing.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
Over the course of 10 years. It's not even just right now. It's the course of 10 years.
they've had their spikes and they've had those good seasons, but they're very average.
And we sat in the stands in the Miami Dolphins game, and I was genuinely worried in the first half that the Cowboys were going to go down in the half to the Dolphins, and they very well could have.
Dolphins should have been up 10 at the half, and
At least.
I think they had a chance to win if they got in that position
Mhm.
the way they were playing, because it would have been
without
the
a doubt.
pressure would have been on. But
Yeah, Dallas
they're
is
just
like
so bad.
Dallas is like 0-6 or 0-7 in the last 2 seasons when they're down at the half. They're a first half team. If they don't go into halftime in the lead, they don't win the game.
Well, we have a real simple formula. When Zeke rushes for over 120 yards, we never lose. But we stopped doing that.
Yeah, well
We stopped doing
We've
that.
gone away from that 6-7 weeks ago.
And
We-
divisional race is still there. They still can win that. They're
Which is
still in the
crazy.
lead. They'll still be in the lead if Philly wins today, which
still
they
have
should.
4-0 division record.
Right. They still have. You can change. I've seen teams change their season around.
Yeah.
There is time to do it.
Yeah, but but we're allowed to think that way. Jerry needs to stop thinking that way.
And-
Because he's still saying that we can right the ship. It's like, dude, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Enough is enough. You're an idiot. Period. You're stupid. Enough with your crap. Stop hiring your friends as coaches and make the tough decision, dude.
Yeah.
My goodness. You got a guy who's been on the team for 4 weeks who's given impassioned speeches in the locker room. The dude hasn't even been there. He's probably, to some of those players, might even have a right to talk, and he's the one with the fire. No one else got fire. Yeah, dude, because he comes from places that win games.
And that's
Period.
And I was very critical of what's his name? I can't even think of his name.
Mike
right
Bennett.
Now. Michael Bennett. Yeah, coming into Dallas because I'm not a fan of him. I think off the field he's not a good person and he creates a lot of drama that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. And when the Cowboys signed him, I was not happy about it. But this week, I was happy that someone finally stepped up and said something meaningful because there was all this talk about him yelling in the locker room, and they asked Dak Prescott about it in the post-game conference, and Dak Prescott said, yeah, he said what needed to be said. Like, this is a championship caliber team without the championship caliber mentality, and that's why this team will never win. And when you hear that from a guy who actually has been a part of championship teams, maybe it's going to light a spark that needs to be lit.
Yeah, good luck.
But as long as Jason Garrett's at the helm, I don't think that's going to be the case. And
I would fire Garrett in front of the team. I wouldn't even let him get dressed. I'd say I got an announcement to make while they're taking their pads off. You're done. Leave. That's what I would do.
I mean,
That's what I would do.
he's shown time and time again that he's completely gutless. He's going for it. I mean,
Jerry's just as gutless.
just the fact that he went for it on 4th and 1 on his own 20, that even tells me that he's even more gutless, right? Because that's almost like the equivalent of Jalen Ramsey and Marcus Peters the other night when they went after the game and Jalen Ramsey starts talking trash to Marcus Peters, who, in fact, would kick his ass. Is not just going to sit there and talk shit to him. He will literally get in his face and actually be about it. And Jalen Ramsey's like, hold me back, as he's talking crap. Like
Oh, God.
that is the equivalent of that, right? Like Jason Garrett going for it on 4th and 1 on his own 19. But I think without a doubt he's gone after the end of this season. I mean, I think we can agree that his last 5 weeks.
I'm done
are
jumping
upon
on
him.
that. I'm done
He's not going to
jumping
fire
on
him during the season because
I'm
now
done
we're
jumping
real
on
late
that.
now if he's not doing it. But
Don't matter. I'm
unless
done
it turns
jumping on
completely around, he's gone.
Hey,
Yeah, he has to be
completely
historically, teams do better once the interim comes in, even if it's only for that 1 year. So if truly your thought process is if we fire him, we won't make the playoffs, you're an idiot because you're not looking at history. If you fire him, you'll probably play your best football ever for at least the next few games.
Yeah.
Even if you suck next year.
Yes.
Because that's what history says.
So
That
that's why
happened
it's
with
an
the
interim
Cleveland
coach. Then
Browns.
you go out and get the coach. So
That
it's no
happened.
big- it
That
works.
happened with the Cleveland Browns last year, and that's why everyone thought Greg Williams was going to
Yeah.
be the.
It
head
happens
coach.
all the time. He's right. That happens a lot.
It does happen a lot, and it happened. It happened with Dallas in the past when they fired
Wade Phillips.
when they fired Wade Phillips, and when they fired Campo to put Wade Phillips there.
We're gonna do the Dallas and Philly schedule like we do every week to see where we're at. And
No,
who's gonna
Philly's schedule is so much easier than Dallas.
Redskins twice. Am I right?
Dallas
Or no?
has at
Bears,
Chicago,
loss.
at Philly.
I'd like to
And
say
there's
it's
one
not.
more,
I'd like
too.
to say it's not a loss
more,
because
too.
Trubisky's garbage, but who knows?
Oh
Who
no.
knows?
Well, the Cowboys.
Yo, you said that about Josh Allen too.
Josh
And then
Allen
he-
is
Then he's
garbage.
running for first downs when he fumbles,
Oh, like-
picking it up. He's throwing. He's sitting there. He's frozen in the pocket because nobody's near him. And
Yeah,
he's
Tim
throwing
Tebow
dimes.
did all those
The
things. too, and
Cowboys
he
are
sucks.
0
But
now 0-5.
He was good. Never got another chance.
The Cowboys are now 0-5 or 0-6 against teams with winning records. So I mean, this is just speaking to the point. But who when Jason Garrett ultimately gets fired at the end of the season, who can we see replacing
Ultimately,
him?
that's wild of you to say.
Maybe
No,
he'll
it's
get
happened.
maybe he'll get a
All right,
contract
yeah, you think
extension.
so?
He would have already gotten. He would have already gotten an extension if he was getting an extension.
Maybe they'll go 10-6 or 9-7, win the division, win one game, and they'll be like,
I
"All right,
will
we can
never
see."
again.
Aside from an NFC Championship, he's getting fired.
I would.
I will
I would
never-
love that. I mean, get to the championship game then.
I will never agree
I'm
with
gonna
you
start
again.
cheering for you.
I will never agree with you again on him getting fired until he gets fired.
No, he's getting fired
Okay.
without a doubt.
The tea leaves
You
are
wanna
there.
bet
You
on
can
it?
read it. Yeah, I'm
What do
willing
we-
to
let's
do
bet
that.
like a 12-pack or something on it.
I'm not
I'm
betting
in.
anything on it
Oh.
because we've made this bet for 10 years. Now, this is the same thing as the refs making you do things over and
Oh,
over
yeah.
again. So I've made the bet for 10 years. Now it's finally right, and I got to pay up in a bet. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
You're gonna have to pay up
That's
when
like,
they don't make
it's
the.
like my uncle right
so
now.
you're agreeing with him?
I want that 12-pack when they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
though. You know what it's on.
Oh, they're not. They probably won't make the playoffs.
Dude, your owner is crying, and you think he's gonna do something rational?
I'd be crying too if I was
Holy
him.
moly, dude.
All that salary and all that talent, and you can't win a game. I'd be crying too.
Yeah, dude. I usually cry when I've created.
He literally
the
put his hands over his face. He had the emoji going, and then they had the NFL memes. The I'm a head out.
You know
With
why
him
he's
underneath
crying?
it.
Do you know why
SpongeBob?
he's crying? Do you know why he's crying? Because he doesn't want to fire Jason Garrett.
No,
Probably,
it's his
yeah.
son.
It's like his son.
It-
Yeah.
it is. It
It's
is
his
his
adopted
son.
son.
It's his redheaded
It's
stepchild.
It's literally.
I don't care. I don't care how many. I don't care how many billions you've accrued, how many businesses you own, how much crap you've done. You're an idiot if you haven't figured out in the business world that you can't have friends working for you. Period. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Well, I don't think
I
he
don't
has
give a shit about all the stuff you've done in your life, Jerry, and all the accomplishments. I don't care.
He's
I
had
don't
friends.
care. Don't care.
Barry Switzer was his friend. Jimmy Johnson was his friend.
Oh, stop
I mean,
it. Jimmy Johnson was not his friend.
They may not be his
yeah.
friends anymore,
Well,
but they were his friends.
Jimmy wasn't
Jimmy
his friend,
out.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drove Parcells out.
egomaniac. Jesus,
He wasn't
Jerry.
friends
Come
with any
on.
of these dudes. Stop it.
Barry Switzer was the only one that kind of left on his own terms. Well, I mean, I guess Jimmy did too, but
He doesn't know how to hire coaches.
drove him
this
out.
guy.
Drove
Yeah,
him out
he
for
drove
sure.
him out and Parcells too.
yeah.
with
Let's
T.O.
talk. Let's talk about Sean Payton. Obviously, Sean Payton was a big part. He's on the what is it? The competition committee or whatever that made the ultimate decision to add the reviewable pass interference thing, which we've talked about on this show before as being essentially useless. I mean,
It's useless because they're being vindictive and purposely not overturning.
I
them
think
because
there's-
they have too much power.
I think there's been 7 overturns this season out of like 55 or something ridiculous like
And
that.
the way they call
It's a
it,
low
that should be
percentage.
about half.
Yeah, oh,
'Cause,
it
I
should
mean,
be
come
about
on,
that,
all
without a
in
doubt.
real time. They're getting these right.
Yeah.
48 out of 55.
No, they're just refusing to be wrong. That's the thing.
They're like
And-
Major League umpires.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire people. Fire people.
You get the same. The same next crew will be the
It's
same.
a joke,
thing.
dude. Just
Same-
fire people.
Next,
it's not hard.
next crew will be the same way.
Do you know
You
how
think
many
there's an
peop-
answer for this? Do you?
It's called
You think you're gonna answer
old
this?
people on their high horse.
Dude, this is dude, it's typical.
Yeah.
It's this is sociology. If you give consequences, behavior will change. That's how it works with human beings.
Maybe.
Consequences cause changing
Maybe.
behavior.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe and
There's
maybe
a
not.
million refs that can come up and step up, dude. There's a million people in ref school that want to ref.
Dude, does
Let
the
them
con-
ref, dude.
does
I'll
the-
ref.
When they use this word conclusive, does it have to be 100%? In other words, if 100 people watch the same video, would they all have the same answer, and that's what conclusive
no,
is? Because if not, then they always have a justification and not change
Well,
it.
the
Because
wording in the to overturn it is clear and obvious.
yeah, see, that's words like that. There's no such thing most of the time because
Yeah.
somebody could look at it and say,
I don't
we can
see
know
that.
we can know it's 90-10, but that does
It's
that
the-
10 mean that it's not
It's
conclusive?
the Julian Edelman muffed punt from what is it, the Super Bowl or the AFC
Kansas
Championship?
City.
When did it hit his thumb or did it not hit his thumb?
Well,
right?
that's really close.
Everyone literally says something different. Like
That- well,
yes,
that
that
one-
hit
I
his
have
thumb.
no clue with that.
Some
I really
people,
don't.
some
I don't
people
know.
are like definite. It
I
hit
don't
his thumb,
rem-
and then other people are like,
I
no,
remem-
it didn't even come
I
close to
remember,
his thumb.
and I'm just like, I have no clue what happened.
yeah,
That
I
was
still
trick
can.
photography.
I still can.
I
but,
literally-
but that one is one that you would keep to call. Be right because
Yes.
it's
Whoever it was
50-50.
called, you
But I'm
gotta-
saying when it's like 90-10.
But okay.
It's most
but
likely this.
Another
but-
thing they do wrong because they're bad at their jobs. They're constantly calling against plays and then going to replay where it has to be clear and concise and then going, well, because of that rule, we can't overturn it, even though we clearly see that it wasn't there.
Well, that's exactly
so that's
what
why
I'm
you
saying.
should call it in favor of the offense every time, because then you can overturn later. Because if you don't call in favor of the offense every time, you
It's
get
like-
way less overturns.
It's like the don't blow the whistle when there's a
Yes,
turnover.
that's
thing.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So that's the problem. We'll see penalties where dudes are like, okay, he ripped his helmet off and beat him with it, and then he stabbed him 3 times, but they called it dead on the field. So now because it's not showing enough in the film, we can't reverse it. Okay, so what you need to do is call everything in favor of the team about to be hurt by the penalty.
That's
And
too much for them
then-
to think of in the
and
spot.
then-
Like all that. You want
Okay,
to,
well-
so you don't like their judgment calls, but you want them to do that.
But I think that's a. I don't like the way you just worded that though, because that's like with me and him arguing politics, and he was like, "Oh, so you want the whole healthcare thing? You want the guys who spend our money bad now to spend? No, I want them to do it right. That's what I want the
Hey,
refs to do it right.
Well, everybody wants them to do
I
it
want
right.
to do it
but
right. I don't
We all
want-
have
no,
a
that's
different,
what I want. I
different
want to do it
definition of
right.
right.
Head coach
Do it
Jason
right.
Garrett is live right now from the Star. Should we?
Should we call him?
Do we wanna
Can we
listen
call
to-
him?
Oh,
Oh,
listen-
dude, hey, hey, can we get some ISIS over there to just jihad that building, please? That'd be great.
Jesus Christ.
Good lord.
Off
sick
the
of it.
reels.
Sick of it.
I mean,
sick
part
of
of the problem with the refs is, some of them are 5 years away from cashing in their 401k.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
There's got to be an age limit on
There
that.
should.
I mean, 60 years old, that should be the cap. I mean,
I don't know,
even
45.
Even 60 is kind of old.
45.
I mean,
Jesus. I was going to train to be a ref, man.
My eyes-
I got to hurry up.
my eyesight at 34 isn't good. I can't, 70-year-old
Mine
refs out there, like, come on.
Yeah, believe it or not, people's eyesight's different person to person.
I understand that.
Yeah, they-
I understand that.
Any
the
even
older
age,
you get,
any
the
even
shittier
age.
your
And then
eyes
once
are,
you
generally.
once you hit 40, you automatically get a subscription to Lens Crafters for the final 5 years of your
Yes.
roughing career.
Right.
That's the way it goes.
But Sean Payton, obviously unhappy with how the pass interference review process has gone. Seems like he's actually thrown a few flags to test it. But he's unhappy with how that goes. He's now lobbying to implement a 3-person review booth rather than just the vice president of
I love
football
Sean Payton.
operations,
I love
whatever the
Sean
hell
So
it
do
is.
all 3 have to agree? Or could it be
Should
2?
be at least
Well,
two
I
out
think
of 3.
I think that's why it's 3. So it's,
This
at
is
least
again,
it's got to be a
again,
majority.
We're all being,
So, but 2 out of 3 isn't clear and
But we're-
conclusive,
we're-
is it?
but
Or
we're-
obvious?
No, but it's a majority.
but we're once again
it's more
being
than
clouded
50-50?
by a fake.
Yes.
This is fake news, dude. We're being clouded by a stupid headline that's making us talk about it when in reality the answer was already there. We watched
the answer.
we watched the AAF do this right. A dude who's not a moron up in the booth going, "Nah, you're wrong. Next, pick
But
up
it-
the flag.
but
Nah,
that's-
you're wrong. Next, pick up the flag."
But that's
We've
Sean
seen it.
Payton's argument is now it's why does one guy decide on the outcome? Why don't we get a small group of people so that we
Right now,
have,
nobody
Why
decides
3
on the
then?
outcome.
we
Why
have
not
more
s-
than one opinion?
Right now,
Why not
only
3 then?
right now
Why
only
7,
the refs
9?
decide. We don't even have a one guy. We got only the
I
refs.
think it would just take too long to come up with an answer. That's the thing.
Not if you're all sitting
Hey,
and
let's all
watching
lick
like
boots,
us right
man.
now.
That's
We're
the
looking
thing.
at the video
That's-
at the same time.
But
What do you think? What do you think?
saying that is what when these owners and shit focus group the stats on what isn't okay with fans. People like you saying that are why shit doesn't get changed, because we just want to be fat asses and eat our chips and get diabetes and the game to go by quicker. I want the
I
game
don't.
to get called right.
Agreed.
That's what I want, dude. I don't care if it takes 6 hours. Call it right or
Exactly.
get consequences.
Yeah, I don't care either. The argument that it's going to slow the game down, to me is irrelevant. If I enjoy watching it, I could care less if it's 10 minutes longer.
If you care about the game getting slowed down, you're a fake fan. You're a fake fan. You watch this so that you have because you're a lonely asshole and you want to go to work in the morning and be like, "Hey, you see that game last night? Hey, I need human interaction because I'm awkward. A human interaction, please." That's what you want.
The only games that I wish would be faster are the Sunday night and Monday night games because it's like I don't want to go to bed at 1 a.m. But, any other game I could care less. I get it right. It's more important to me to get it right because too many times the refs are changing outcomes of games, and that's not okay. Especially as you get further into the season, where playoff implications are really start to
Heat up.
take hold. I mean,
I love Sean
you
Payton.
cost a team a win in week 14. That could potentially end their playoff hopes.
Yes.
So I mean that's a situation where and Sean Payton wants to make it so that one guy doesn't make these decisions. It's a little more fair when 2 out of 3 can agree. Yeah, that's wrong, or yes, that's right.
Sean
or
Payton's
whatever.
the only coach in the NFL who has, without a doubt, correctly found a way to implement a multi-quarterback system without an African-American quarterback at the helm or like a running quarterback at the helm. The dude is smart. You should listen to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I
don't see an issue with it. If you got one guy up there reviewing it, why not throw in two more to make it?
He made Taysom Hill into an actual stud.
Why not
He's
throw
a
in
backup quarterback.
Why not throw in two more guys in there to make sure that that guy is impartial? You know what I mean? It's one of those
There's
things.
nothing wrong with that. The more, the better.
Yeah.
There's a bigger sample size, but it has to be unanimous, in my opinion.
You think all three would have to agree?
Or do they have to literally change the rule and how it's worded?
Yeah, true.
Wow, I mean, that's
So if
not
you have
that hard.
100, you'll never get a call change, probably.
Yeah,
Maybe the Rams Saints playoff game. You maybe even all.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get 100 people agree on
I
that.
think
Maybe.
one guy who's above the refs and unaffiliated with the guys in the field is enough. One.
But what if that one guy has bias
But he
towards
won't.
one team?
But he won't. He won't.
How do you know that?
Because you can do this right. You can vet
How do you
properly. You have billions of dollars. You can vet properly.
Everyone, no matter what, that's involved with the NFL is a fan of some sort of a certain team.
I disagree. I don't
or-
think every single ref's a football fan.
Or
I think some refs don't give a shit about
Or they're
football.
from somewhere, or their grandkid likes so and so. I mean, this was
Yeah,
proven
exactly.
in the NBA with Donaghy.
Yeah,
he was calling
I don't
out
believe.
everybody.
I don't
in the
believe
league.
every
Who's that name?
NFL ref is a football fan. Most of them probably are.
Okay, but you've seen the results of certain players get certain calls, and so clearly the ref has some sort of favoritism towards that player.
Yeah, but you're
because
saying
of
that
who
you're
he
saying that
is,
as if
or-
it's the same ref and the same player every time.
No.
the,
He's just saying
the
they
player,
all have a
the player.
bias
The player
somewhere.
that gets favoritism gets it with every ref crew. That doesn't change anything.
because of who he is.
Every human being has a
That's what I'm
bias. Every single one.
I get that.
Yeah.
Listen, when we watched the AAF for the short amount of time it was there, that fat dude in a blazer up top killed it every time.
because it was a brand new league.
Killed it every time.
It's a brand new league, though.
All right, what's he going to become more biased over time? He knew
Yes.
his job. He did his job, dude.
If he's in the booth and he's a fan, or he lives in Baltimore, say, and this is a Patriots Baltimore AFC
Okay,
Championship game.
so when stuff starts to happen in Patriots Baltimore games, we can address it. That's okay,
But that's-
But then you won't even know that's what it
you
is.
guys notice Baltimore doesn't get any penalties? That's weird. Yeah, no one will notice that. Come on, dude, that's dumb.
That's my point. Is you can avoid that by just putting more people in there.
Okay, but then you have to make it unanimous, in which case you ruin everything.
I
Because
think-
two dudes will say yes and one will say no, and it will cancel out the majority.
I think 3 is good.
That's the
if
point
it's
I'm making.
unanimous. If it's not, it's not.
Yeah, I don't
if
know.
it's
the
not, it's
details
not.
behind- I mean,
Unanimous means nothing to me. If the majority gets it, the majority gets it. I don't give a damn
Sean
about
Payton's
that thing.
Sean Payton's gonna bring this to the meeting. I think it's in
March, probably.
yeah, it's somewhere in March or April at the players' meeting. But the NFLPA and the NFL have to agree on this, and as usual, that's kind of hard to do. So we'll see where it goes from there. But next up on the docket, we have Lamar Jackson, and
Looks like he wrote STDs on the
Yeah, it
board.
does.
where
Yeah,
With,
Oh,
with
yeah,
5
it does.
TDs. I thought I saw that too, but didn't comment.
Lamar Jackson got 5 STDs on Monday Night Football.
Well, I mean, he was banging the Rams. I mean, all night long. What the hell?
Yeah, fact.
45 points.
Dude.
Banging the Rams. That was
Okay.
hilarious.
Jesus, did they even show up and even fight back?
I'm gonna pull up
Mike's not funny.
week.
Poor McVay.
Just banging the Rams
They
all night
took the
long.
Rams. Nice pick. Stupid.
So this guy, I mean,
That was awesome.
even I've given this guy a lot of heat myself, and we've been overall. I'd say we're probably of this show. I'd say we're probably not Lamar Jackson fans as far as quarterbacking goes.
I'm a fan.
really
I'm a fan.
I enjoy-
like
I'm a
watching
fan.
him. Sure, I like watching
I'm a
him.
fan.
Still
watching him is
out in
fun.
5 years.
I'm a fan.
He's extremely fun to watch.
Yes,
As far as a quarterback goes,
I'm a fan.
I don't think he's a good quarterback. I still don't
What?
think he's a good quarterback.
He's not a good quarterback.
It's such
No.
a gimmicky offense.
But he's not a good quarterback.
No, because if you look at strictly his passing numbers,
that's
which
not
defines
what
a
that's.
quarterback.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
Says who?
My quarterback shouldn't be running the ball 14 times
Says
a
who?
game.
Should is
Yeah,
should
history says
is
that.
the
History says
He'll
that.
die
When
in
when
3.
one wins a Super Bowl, they can talk, but they can't. 'cause
When
they're not
Ezekiel
half.
You don't have to
Elliott
win a Super Bowl.
when Ezekiel Elliott
to be
carries
good.
the ball for 16 times and Lamar Jackson carries the ball for 15 times, there's a problem.
Yes.
Not really. Lamar Jackson's a better running back than Ezekiel Elliott, is what that tells me. And yes, he is.
You're a scumbag.
I'm not. He is better. He's a better back. He's shit.
That's nonsense.
He is.
So I'm gonna do another teaching moment for people, just so everyone knows the easiest place to run from on the football field is the quarterback position.
So
Okay, if Zeke played quarterback, he'd rush for 15,000 yards.
So this is the thing.
It's
okay?
the easiest place in the field to run from.
This guy.
Let's
Let's talk
of course
about.
he puts up
Let's
numbers
talk
there.
about Lamar Jackson's game here on Monday Night Football. Phenomenal performance, right?
Great performance.
Five touchdowns.
5
Now,
touchdown passes and like 38 yards passing. It was
Dive a
wild.
little,
Doesn't
dive a
matter.
little
Make
deeper.
the right plays.
Dive a little deeper into the stat line here. You got 8 carries for 95 yards, and you have 15 completions. He has half the completions in rushing attempts.
But the stats don't matter in a game like this. See, they made the right plays at the right time. They blew them
He
out.
did.
There's zero to
He
look
did.
at
So
with
no,
stats in a
Mike's
game like
right.
this.
Mike's right.
Zero.
100%. Absolutely, Mike's
15
right.
of 20.
Over the course of a career, he probably won't win a Super Bowl. He'll be
They're
like
going to win
every
it
other
this
QB.
year, probably.
It's
I
just the
think
way
they're
it
the
is.
clear
It's
favorite.
just the way it is.
if they have a chance to win with him, it's this year.
They're clear favorites.
Clear
to me.
favorites often don't win.
I didn't say.
I'm just
I
saying.
think they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a. They're the
Cowboys
favorite. If I
win
had
it.
to put
Sure.
my money on a
Sure,
team this
yeah.
year, I'd put it on them.
I'll tell you what.
Kansas City was the
not
clear
only
favorite
not
last
only
year.
will
I'm
I
not saying
agree
the
with you.
I'm not saying the clear favorites wins it. I'm just saying they have a really good chance.
Oh,
I put them-
100%. I agree with you. They are the clear favorite. You're right.
The
100%.
Dallas Cowboys were a clear favorite
I
starting
know,
the
but
season. Look at them now.
you're making a different argument. I'm not saying they're the favorite for a reason. That's what I'm saying.
You can't turn a career into 15 attempts a game, 15 completions a game. You just can't.
I'm not saying that he projects out. I'm going to do what I do all the time in
Mm-hmm.
every situation. I can't say that he's going to be great for a career. I can't say he's going to be great next season.
In a
No, I can
Right
say
now,
that.
he's not a good quarterback.
I can say
he's
that.
a great quarterback. He's an
No,
elite.
I
He's going to
would
win
say-
the MVP.
No, I would
He's
say
going to win the MVP.
Matt
He's
Ryan
already
won an
won the
MVP.
MVP. Actually,
Matt Ryan
I think
won
he's
MVP.
getting
He's
it today
still
on the
not a
field.
great quarterback right now, but he is a
How-
great,
so-
amazing football player.
No, he's a great at this moment.
No.
He's a great. I think he's a great football player who plays quarterback.
He's a great
That's
ath-
not the
he's a
same
great
thing.
athlete.
That's not the same thing.
That's
It's not
it
the
is.
same thing.
Yes.
At this moment, he's not even better at quarterback than Tom Brady, who's having a down season to his standards.
Lord,
He's not even better than
help-
Brady.
Oh Lord, help us!
He's not even better than RG3.
He's not even better than Dak Prescott at quarterback right now.
This is lunacy.
He's not better than RG3 at quarterback, and I'll tell you why. Because
Well, why aren't they starting RG3?
Dude, who knows?
RG3 can't
I don't know,
run
Tim
like Lamar
Tebow's
Jackson.
supposed to
messed
be-
up.
Running is part of playing the position. If I have a dynamic ability,
not, though.
yes,
No,
it is.
it's not.
Yes,
It depends
it
on.
is.
It depends
Fact
on.
it is.
It depends on your. I'm good with Mike. It depends on your offense. Depends on what you run. It is.
If I have an amazing skill set that helps me play
Yes.
at this position or
Yes.
any skill set,
because
in life,
me and you are yelling at Dak every week that doesn't use his legs.
Okay,
I'll give you an example.
Let's.
If I'm a terrible clinician but I'm a great note writer, you would say that has nothing to do. Yes, it does. I can get away with writing a great note about
Yeah.
something that is whatever. So it's
Yeah.
part of doing it. It's a skill that is. Teams are going to. As a matter of fact, it's probably the wave of what's going to go on. More teams are going to try to
What
get
have
guys
we?
like
What
this.
have we seen over the
But we've
course
seen
of
that
history?
wave come already.
What have we seen
And
over
it'll
the
come.
course
It'll
of
come
It'll
again
come
history
again
repeats
because
itself.
he's going to
Lamar
do
We've seen it.
Jackson.
It didn't work the
Lamar
last time.
Jackson
But he's
is
doing
the,
it better than these guys.
No, you're right.
including
You're right.
No,
You're
he
right.
is.
You're right.
He's the 2019 RG3. He's the guy that backs him up. He's
Right,
a better
right,
version of
right,
RG3.
but what you're
That's
saying-
exactly what he is.
But what you're saying is
The 2011 RG3. That's
right. But
the
you're
2019.
right, and we
Lamar
can
Jackson.
project that he won't be good in the future.
No,
And he
you
won't
can
sustain it.
guarantee
That's
that
not
he
what
won't
I'm
be
saying.
good in the future.
I can't do that.
I
How
can't.
can I do that?
Because history tells you he won't.
Averaging 12 running attempts a game, he will die in 3 years.
But that's an opinion and a projection. That's not what I'm saying. I've already said. I'm
It's-
saying
it's
that right
based
now
on-
he's a great quarterback.
But it's
today.
based on
this
fact.
day.
It's based on fact from history. It's
But you're still projecting.
It
now.
is.
You
Yeah,
can
I
do
am.
that. I
I
could
am.
do it too, and
it's
maybe
a-
I feel that way
It's
too.
an
about
educated
him.
guess, essentially.
Right. But right now he's great.
No,
Today.
right now he is, without a
All
doubt.
right.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Without
saying.
a
You
doubt.
started by saying he was
yes,
not
he's
good.
not.
Yes, I agree with you.
It was
yes.
a quarterback.
You started from he
he's-
wasn't good to now
I
you say
still
he's
don't
great.
think he's a good quarterback. Without a doubt, no. I don't.
I don't.
No,
agree,
you don't think
I
he's
don't
going
agree,
to be.
I think he's
I
the
don't-
best
I
running
don't-
back in the NFL, and
Better
he's
than-
a middle of the pack quarterback.
I don't
right now.
think he's a great. Even
That's
even if we're going
qualified.
by
It's
this
too
year, I don't
qualifying
think
to me.
he's great at quarterback. I think he's the best football player out there. But Michael Vick's one of the best football players of all time, and he's not even a top 100 quarterback. Football player and quarterback aren't the same thing. I think he's the best football player in football right now. He is not a great quarterback.
We've seen this play a million times. This
He is the
style.
clear-cut MVP. He is the clear-cut MVP. They are the front runner for the Super Bowl. He is playing untouchable football.
Correct.
But you also have to look. All the running backs who suck on his team, besides Ingram, who's average at best, are averaging like 5 yards a carry. Do you think that's because they're good at football? No. It's a gimmick that will end. Harbaugh, luckily, is an amazing coach, and it'll continue for a little while.
This is exactly.
I'm
Which
not
you
saying
didn't-
that's
which you
not
didn't
true
disagree with.
again.
Which you
but
didn't disagree with. This is more. I'm talking like this is.
Listen,
people
we
listen. This isn't you.
literally saw this exact play in this exact script in 2011 with the Redskins. Alfred Morris had 2012. Alfred Morris had 17 or 1,600 yards rushing, and RG3 was an absolute savage.
But
and,
RG3 got injured.
and here we are, right?
we don't know how it played out. He got hurt.
Because you can't sustain this offense as a quarterback.
Are
can't-
you just predicting he's going to get hurt?
Oh, without a doubt.
and
he's going
But
to get
he's
hurt.
a big boy, 6'2", 220.
Yeah, but he's lanky 220.
He's a big boy.
And in that
He's
same
lanky,
year,
220.
the offensive coordinator of the 49ers was Greg Roman, who is now the offensive coordinator in Baltimore.
like okay,
That offense died.
Colin Kaepernick.
It can.
perfect
And,
example. Him and
this
Zeke
could
are
die,
the same weight and height. Zeke's twice his width.
Yeah.
Matters.
but can he get better at throwing the ball in other parts of the
And
game?
of course
Not
he
if
can.
he's not doing
Of
it.
course he can.
He's
do
not
it.
doing
he
it.
is. Does it?
Of course
but,
he can't.
But
He's not doing
You
it.
wouldn't put him in the position to do it if he's doing these other things. Because they're jumping on. I will say this: they are jumping on teams early in games. He hasn't had to bring him back from a 14-0
So,
game, 20
now-
to 3 game.
Yeah.
That is true.
No, you're right.
So
to the RG3 thing, let's get to the RG3 thing real quick. You said he got hurt. Well, yes and no. Because he factually did get hurt, but that did nothing to his career because as we saw, he's just as fast and they used him as a running back the other day. RG3 takes carries in this offense. So what that tells me is they realized you suck, you're not good, you were a gimmick, and we decided we're no longer giving you chances to start in this league. That's what it tells me.
Mm-hmm.
Because his talent was his legs, and he had a powerful arm. His legs are still there. I just seen it. He took a handoff the other day. They had the Heisman package out there.
Yeah, they did.
And he's in his 30s, so he's no different. Why isn't he starting somewhere? Oh, because he sucks. Yeah. Because he was a gimmick. Lamar will get there too. As of right now, Lamar's about to win a goddamn MVP, and that's fact.
Just
And
like
that's fact.
Kaepernick was a
Lamar
gimmick.
will
The same
Lamar
offense.
will be forgotten. It will happen.
Will be.
Now he's about to win the MVP.
You
good,
can't-
good point. Will
Shit.
be versus right
You
now.
cannot-
was-
you
was my
cannot-
He
argument.
will. Goddamn it, he's going to win the
They're
MVP.
two separate
He's
arguments.
going to rush for 1,000 yards.
They're two
He's going to rush for
separate-
1,000 yards.
Oh, dude, he's already got 1,000. Doesn't
Well-
he? He's like 970 or something ridiculous. He's like 20 or 30 yards behind Ezekiel Elliott.
I'll pull it up.
He's
And they are blasting teams. Like they don't even fall into trap games like this. We're gonna go trap.
876.
They just
yeah,
blast
he's got
on everybody.
876 rushing yards. That puts him like 6th in the NFL. Or
God, I
seventh
wish
in the
he'd
NFL.
stop because he's killing me in fantasy with these other players that
And they're
have
two
him.
separate arguments.
Stop.
These are two separate arguments. You can't.
They are.
You can't say what he's going to do in the future based off what he's going to do now. But right now, Lamar Jackson's the best player in football. He's absolutely demolishing his competition and putting his team in a great position to either make a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl. That's undeniable. Now, the second argument is, can he sustain that?
Yes, correct.
No, don't put
You
it.
look-
Not even can he sustain it. Is this him? No matter what, is this him or is this defenses will get better? He will.
Yeah, that's
he will,
part of every
That's, can he
quarterback's
sustain it?
progression.
Well,
though.
that's the
every
I
I
quarterback.
understand
Look
that,
at Baker
but
Mayfield.
most quarterbacks that are really good and not just gimmicks, like Drew, Russell, like just whoever you want to name, defenses figure them out and they stay good. Guys like him get figured out and then they don't stay good because they're not
But
really at heart good.
Can we change the line from can he sustain it? Can he be 75% of this?
I want to say is he the
Because
real
this
deal?
is
I wanna say,
elite
is he the
level
real deal?
stuff.
No.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying. If he has any drop off, people will say, "See, I told you."
I
And-
like to
and
say is he the real
it's not
deal? That's the way I like to
necessarily
work.
the
The
case.
drop
he gonna
off
be good?
is the drop off is happening without a doubt happening. He cannot do this
Yeah,
his entire
this.
career.
But can he
Nobody
be a
can.
good-
Nobody can.
Right.
But
Well, then,
That's not what
so the point
but
Jared's
can,
making
can
is
he have a
that
10-year long career? No, let me finish my point. Can he have a 10-year long career? Being a productive quarterback in this
Right.
league,
That's a real
doing
question.
what he's doing right now by running the ball as much as he's throwing the ball. No, he
Well,
can't.
Well, eventually a body
And
takes
and
a
he
toll on
can't
him, yeah.
because history tells you he can. Guys like him don't last. Michael Vick, longest tenured one we've seen, right? Even he took a 2-3 year
I'd
off.
say
of football.
Cam
You're
Newton's the
making
longest
it
tenured
very
one,
you're
probably.
No, Cam Newton's done already.
You're making it very
He's
safe.
done, dude. He's out injured. Season's over with the Carolina Panthers. He's going to get shipped from them this year.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's done. He's probably going to keep playing out.
Yeah, no, he's going to keep
He's
playing.
going to start next year, week one.
And what happened?
on
He
a
won the
team.
NFL MVP in 2015, and what has he been since?
Okay,
Nothing.
I'm just saying.
That's my point.
I was just saying. You said Vic.
You
I
can't
think
sustain
Cam's
this
the
over a
longest
10-year
tenured.
career.
That's all
making
I was
it-
saying. I think Cam's the longest tenured.
You're making a very
all I'm
safe and sensible bet, and I think I agree with that premise moving forward. You know, the projecting out, but there is always an outlier to history and to things.
As
like
of
that
right
too,
now, he
so.
throws like Colin Kaepernick. And what I mean by that is he's a powerful arm, powerful arm, but he throws line drives.
Line drives, yeah.
We don't see him making any
He throws.
sort of.
He throws unbalanced. He throws off his back foot. He throws sidearm. He does what he has to do to get the ball to his player. But those are not good football mechanics. And over time, those don't translate to success.
And also, his receivers he's throwing to tend to not be draped with coverage. They're doing misdirection, whether it be fake options, play action, things like that, which get guys open behind so that he can throw just straight up line drives at them. Once next year or the year after comes, when teams are like, okay, now I'm in the hip pocket of these receivers, his line drives won't work. He'll need to learn a completely new mechanic of throwing, which is difficult. It's very difficult. Then we take away his legs. Let's say he does this for a few years, then his legs go. Now he has to just be a pocket. He has to become Warren Moon. Got to become Warren Moon now. I don't see anything in his game that shows. He doesn't even show flashes of it. With Dak showed flashes his rookie year of passes. Most of his passes were trash, and then he would throw one that I was like, holy shit, how'd he throw that? This dude's literally just going, Colin Kaepernick, zip it in, bam, there. Every single time. I'm not seeing any flashes of future building with him. I'm just seeing him looking amazing.
It's easier to say that. It's easier to say take the safe thing. He's going to get hurt. We haven't seen. It's definitely easier to do that. But it's good. If he has a down year next year, that doesn't mean.
But there really is no argument against you on this year's basis. You're right, 100%. There is no argument against you on this year's basis. He's.
You got a point to make?
Motherfucker's going to be on the Madden cover. He's going to be the MVP.
And then he'll get hurt.
Yeah, he's going to get hurt.
I have my opinion, but I always go by what I'm seeing now.
Yeah.
And my argument will change based on new information.
I still see it as a two-headed race between him and Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll never give up on
But also the other big thing, too, about this offense, if Belichick has another crack at it in the playoffs, what will happen?
Yeah. That's what worries me. Belichick playing them again.
Yeah. We saw what happened to Lamar Jackson in the playoffs last year.
But
it was his rookies.
Last year,
he was a rookie.
When he couldn't run the ball, though, we saw what happened.
That's a different guy last year.
Do we have to pull up his playoff stats about passing?
But that's a different.
I mean, they're
atrocious. But last year was a different guy.
Yeah, I don't even agree with you on this.
He literally had negative yards.
He was a rookie. He was a
different
rookie.
guy.
It doesn't matter. He was a rookie.
It's like a different human being. We're talking about.
But year to year in the NFL is
has
different.
he gotten better at throwing the ball?
Yes.
I don't know. He's thrown more, so I don't know if he's gotten better, but he's thrown more.
Yes.
Is he throwing more?
Yes.
I don't think he is. I think he's throwing the same.
Can we pull up his passing
factually
stats?
is throwing more because he played more games. So you're wrong right there.
No,
He's
again, he's in good
on a per game
He's in
basis,
good
though.
down and distance to throw and put up stats. It's just, but can we look at his stats from last year, passing, and this year?
He's factually throwing.
And let's be honest,
dude,
when you're up
31-6,
31-6, you don't have to throw. So are you going to pad passing stats?
And you're a running and defensive game.
Right.
Your game is more. They just happen to be scoring a lot of points, but in reality, they are a clock management team. They hold the ball more than you.
Yeah.
But they just happen to be doing something that's off the rails, which is scoring a lot of points. Also, he has more passing touchdowns than Dak, which is atrocious.
Yeah. So
that's pretty wild. He has less picks and more passing touchdowns than Dak. Jesus Christ.
Are those passing touchdowns? Or
those are 25 is just passing touchdowns.
So he has 24 passing touchdowns last year. It's 6.
He had 5 on Monday night.
So what? Right, and he had 6 all of last year. So that's what I'm saying about his growth.
But when you look at the stat line, you can see where those numbers are coming from. He had 169 yards passing.
And he only started 7 games.
Why would you have you were not going to have a 350-yard passing game when I'm gashing you in the run game and I'm up 30-6.
I understand that, but you would when you see 5 passing touchdowns, what do you think? You automatically assume that guy's going to have over 300 yards.
He had 400 passing yards is what I would think.
Right, but I don't look at it and then look at the 169.
If I told you Drew Brees threw for 5 touchdowns, how many yards do you think you have? 400. If I told you Tom Brady threw for 5 touchdowns, how many yards do you think you had?
But it doesn't matter. It's all game script, and the game script in that game is to do that. If he could throw 3 passes a game if they're the right plays, 3rd and 4s, and he converts them.
No, you're right.
Which is
so
what Kirk
Cousins
Cousins did like week 1 or some shit. He was like 8 for 8 or something. It was weird.
I think he's going to play this way the rest of the season. Now,
the rest of the season, yeah, for sure. He better not change. It'd be stupid. It'd be dumb to change. It's working. It's beating teams. You know what I mean?
But I know, but people do the "I told you so." Like he has one bad game. Yeah, but he said 10 good ones. That's not how sample sizes work.
As someone who knows a lot of those people, I won't be that person.
He's got 300 pass attempts on the season, dude. We're in week 13.
He doesn't need to throw.
Hey, he's got less
13.
Okay, listen, you're making me defend a guy I don't like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
he's got less pass
attempts
attempts and more touchdowns than our quarterback.
He doesn't.
That's
need to
crazy.
No, that's not crazy.
He doesn't need to throw.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
He throws the ball less and scores more passing touchdowns.
Okay, what's your point? He's in an offense that's better. First of all, a Harbaugh offense that's better.
He's got worse. His weapons aren't
the
better.
reason
His
it's
weapons
better.
It
aren't
doesn't
better.
matter.
He's the whole
Doesn't
reason
matter.
it's good.
Are the Patriots'
Literally.
weapons better than anyone over the last 20 years? No. They've had no-name guys
Except
step
for
in.
07.
Except
They've
for
had
07.
no-name guys step in. Guys that wouldn't probably even make a roster on another team. 12 touchdowns. Chris Hogan, right? This guy was a stud for how many years on the Patriots?
Yeah.
Look at him now. The guy played lacrosse his whole life. He's not a football player. Just because he had 12 touchdowns one season, does that make him great? No, it doesn't.
No, I mean, you're right. The offense does matter, and Harbaugh is
course it does.
superior for sure. But
If you could actually sit here and tell me right now that Lamar Jackson is better at passing the football than Dak Prescott, then you're drunk.
I can't
drunk.
say that. I can't.
He's
say
not. I don't care
Can't say
what his numbers say.
that. Dak
But
is
he's a
pro-
better quarterback, in my opinion, because that's all part of.
He's a
playing
better
the position.
football player. I
He
won't
has
say
a,
he's a
he
better
has a,
quarterback.
he is because that's
He's
part of
basically
being a
saying this-
quarterback.
he's
That is
basically
a
saying
skill
the
that
same
other
thing.
people don't have.
He's basically
You have
saying the
elusive
same
skills.
thing. He just wants to use the word quarterback, and we want to use the word
Right,
football player.
because why do we have to qualify that?
Because a
shit?
quarterback
we don't
throws
shouldn't
the
qualify
ball.
anything. Really? No, he doesn't. That's the thing.
Does
You
a
have
running
to-
back
you have to-
running back throw the ball?
yeah, but
yes, Ronnie
Okay,
Brown. I'll show
I'm
you lots of
switching a little-
highlights.
I'm switching a little bit
Ronnie
because
Brown
again, this
throwing
is
the
like me
ball.
saying Allen Iverson wasn't a good point guard.
Well, you'd be wrong.
Would I be? He didn't. Would I be? He took.
I
He
get what
took
he's
the
saying.
most shots on the team.
Right.
He
He's
didn't
saying
play
he
point
didn't play
guard.
traditional
He played shooting
should-have
guard.
quarterback.
I bet,
played
if
shooting
you
guard.
look up his assist numbers, he has a ton
They
of assists
weren't
too.
that
Okay.
good though.
And
His
you know who
numbers
else has a
weren't
ton
good.
of assists? LeBron. He's not a point guard. Right.
Yeah,
good point.
so what's your point? Anyone could get assists, but his
What he's
job
saying
is
is
to
we
get
should-
assists, and
what
he
he-
has a
what
lot
he-
of them.
What he's saying is
but
we
having
shouldn't-
a lot and having the amount you should have based on your talent and how much you played and so on and so forth are not the same thing. So I can say AI wasn't a good point guard because he didn't play point guard the right way. If you're putting it,
We
that
shouldn't label greatness. There's no need to label him.
And I'm
He's great.
and I'm still on the
Period.
side of I won't
He's
call him a
great.
great
He's
quarterback.
beyond
I'll
great.
still just say he's a great football player. But
I won't do
the
that.
argument you're attacking it with is weird because again, like okay, Russell Westbrook's not a good point guard.
Listen, when you
He's not a
have-
good point guard. He's one of the greatest basketball players.
When
ever.
you
He's not a
have
good point
when
guard.
you have half of your passing attempts and rushing attempts, you're not a good quarterback to me. You're not.
Well,
But he's also running the
I don't know
offense
what
that's
to
being
tell you
called.
then.
at the same time.
I don't know what to say to that.
He's doing-
Harbaugh's telling him you're running this many
No,
runs.
he's
this many
doing
passes.
he's doing what he needs to do to win, and ultimately that's the goal, right? Whether or not he has one pass a game or 45
I don't
passes.
care if he never passed. If they won
Exactly.
games, and
That's
and
the
then
ultimate
I'd say
goal.
he's a great
But
quarterback.
when you break him down as a player, which is what we're trying to do here, you can't sit here and tell me that
when we break him down, the numbers are good. He's complete. Every passing stat is improved for him by a landslide. from
improved.
last year.
It's not MVP caliber.
It's
based
not,
on what
non
he's
MVP
doing-
caliber. He's going to win the MVP.
No, he's gonna because of the running.
That's,
but
which
yeah.
is part of the game.
It is. I know, but we're talking
it's-
strictly passing here.
When other
right now.
QBs win
Okay,
the MVP,
but then
when
that-
other
but that's
QBs
not
win
the whole
MVP,
story of
it's
being a
never their
quarterback.
legs taken into account. It's a thing.
Exactly.
So he's doing
going to-
something.
at the end of the year. His passing numbers, his only passing number that will jump off the page at the end of the year is his touchdown interception ratio. Everything else is pretty pedestrian,
But
especially yards,
it-
and he would never win the MVP.
Right,
otherwise.
but they're blowing teams out. You're not going to throw up with those
no,
scores.
you're right.
Game
Yes, you're right.
script.
Yes, you're right.
And
Yeah.
his numbers have improved drastically for a quarter. So if he
Yeah.
does that again next year and next year, that's what's called progression. You're a progressive, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, aren't you? Isn't that what we look at?
Yeah,
It's progress.
Yeah. I agree. I'm agreeing with both your points. I'm just coming
Wow,
at
you?
right now.
You
All I'm
playing
doing,
defense?
all
No,
I'm
I'm just-
doing right now is I'm attacking ways he's. I don't think he's
No.
arguing things ways the most
You're-
eloquent way, and I think you're wording
I don't
things
care
in a way
how
that's
it's
kinda
argued.
weird.
The
It's like,
fact of the
wah, wah.
matter is, a quarterback throws the football.
Yeah.
You don't get a quarterback
what
in
we're-
this league.
You know who's a bad point
what
guard?
we're-
Kyrie Irving's a bad point guard, but hell of a great basketball player.
yeah, that's a fact. You don't.
I'm just
you
calling him
don't-
a quarterback because these damn guys in fantasy have him listed under
Because he's a
quarterback, and I keep
quarterback. Yeah,
losing.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
So,
plays
I mean,
quarterback.
that's- Right.
Taysom Hill plays quarterback. Doesn't make him a quarterback. That's my point. Is Lamar Jackson a
That's
quarterback?
an argument to have.
By default, yes. Is he a quarterback sustainably
Shit,
for
I'll
his
take
career?
Him. Can
No,
we take him by
he's not.
default right now, please?
Dude.
That's
If you can
to
convince
play
me,
quarterback.
you can convince me that Lamar Jackson can continue to do what he's doing right now for 10 years.
I think I get the sense that, and
I'll
I could,
tell you
I
he's
could
a good
be,
quarterback.
I
So
could
here's
be,
the thing.
he's not.
So
I could
I'm
be
actually-
wrong, but I
he's
think
not.
you don't like him, and I think that you don't think he's
I
good.
don't like him because I don't
hold
like
on.
players that play that position this way.
But which means you're not adaptable to new information.
So
That's
hold
what
on,
I'm,
hold
and
on,
that
let me
was
say
my
this, let me
point.
say
I think
this.
it's rigid. I think that
to adjust what you
no,
said. Hold
I
on.
do, but let me.
Well, here's
Go
the
ahead,
thing:
go
we've
ahead.
never seen a run-first quarterback win a Super Bowl.
We've never seen a run-first quarterback
And you
win
won't.
anything.
He doesn't have to.
you
He
won't.
doesn't. But he doesn't have to win a Super Bowl to be great. Dan Marino was great.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
Dan Marino didn't have
But
to
he
run
doesn't-
the ball to be good.
But his comment was he had to win a Super Bowl to be great. There's guys who've won Super Bowls that aren't great, and there's guys who haven't won Super Bowls that are great. So that doesn't
Nobody
make him-
remembers those guys though.
nobody
I'll
remembers
never
Dan
forget
Marino.
Trent Dilfer. I'll never forget him. You better watch it.
We like to confirm what we already believe. So we'll take, it's called confirmation bias. So we take information that makes our argument fit and discard all the information that doesn't. And I didn't like Lamar Jackson coming into the year, but I have to adapt because information has changed.
I'm not discarding it. What he's doing,
and I'm not saying he won't suck next year.
What he's doing as a dual threat at quarterback is phenomenal. It's amazing.
I like that you said at quarterback.
It's just,
You're making progress.
it's just not sustainable, and we know it's not.
Hey, but
But
okay, so
that was
now-
never the
so let me
argument,
say
though.
this
We
So how
started.
do you
that
say
is the
this?
second half of the
We
argument.
started the topic when you saying he's not a good quarterback. You didn't say he's not
not.
going to be in 5 years.
He's a good
Literally,
football
that's
player.
why we went down.
I got something really good to say that you're gonna like. So
We'll see about that.
So you say you keep
He's
you
got
keep,
something really good to say. It's about time.
you keep hitching your wagon.
Been
you
a
keep,
year and a half.
You keep hitching your wagon to he will bet me he'll sustain his. But what if he doesn't have to sustain it? What if he stops running and starts throwing for 4,000 a year for the rest of his career?
Then I'll say he's a good quarterback, but he won't do that.
No, but you
That's
keep
my point.
No, I understand that, but you keep saying
That wasn't good at all, by the way.
But you keep wording it as he won't be good unless he sustains this for the rest of his. He doesn't have to. He just has
Yes,
to.
that is my point.
he doesn't.
No, he doesn't have to.
'Cause
All he
he's
has to
elite.
do. All he has to do is this. He needs to do one of two things: either do this for the rest of his career, or completely
Which won't
change
happen.
this, but be good at just throwing for the rest of his
Which
career.
won't happen.
Or
He
it might
does-
not. It
he-
might not. But there is more than one path. Is what I'm saying. There's more than one
No,
path.
there is,
Well,
but
in other words, you could say he's not sustainable because he's not an MVP candidate, or
No.
is he's going to be a
No.
consistently good quarterback? in
he
the
won't
league?
be a consistently good quarterback.
Okay, so that's that's
I
even
gotta
different.
take. I gotta take.
Hang
a
on,
lead.
we got a call. We got a call.
'Cause, yeah, my bladder is.
You're getting excited. Oh,
Oh, what is going on? That was terrible.
somebody doesn't. like Lamar.
Joe, give us a call again because I don't know what the hell that happened, but it was all static. So
Well,
try that again.
There we go.
This is a good debate though, right here.
It
Yeah.
is.
Fiery. I don't get fiery that often. I like it though.
Two dudes in a mic.
Sam, how are you going to hang up on me like that?
Dude, I don't know. It was all static on my
Yeah,
end.
it was weird.
Don't get me wrong. I'm one. I feel your plight. I know the struggle of technological difficulties while trying to write, host, co-host, and produce a show all in the same, 20 minutes. So I'm with you, bro.
Right? I hear you.
So I just literally tuned in. I got Sundays off again.
Nice.
I just tuned in for the first time. I'm over here doing up a prime rib, getting ready to put it in the smoker,
Nice.
Yummy.
and I'm listening. And I'm listening to this nonsense about Lamar Jackson. Jared, you are dead on.
I know. You don't have to confirm that.
Other Mike or Dolphins Mike, right? Like, bro, how many times do we have to see this movie before you remember the ending?
So I'm gonna use big words here. What's the sample? What's the sample size? What, 3?
No.
If you were gonna do it,
sample size?
yeah. What's the sample
I'd
size?
say there's more.
Colin
Kaepernick,
Kaepernick, Mike Vick,
Vic,
So 2.
Cam Newton.
let's see,
Cam Newton,
Cam Newton.
3. He
Tebow.
won MVP too, right?
Tebow.
Cunningham.
4. So when are you going to get up to like hundreds, like research studies would do to have a sample size?
But they're all bad though. That's the thing.
Right, and what? So
Yeah, but when you're bad
So, yeah, can I-
you can take that small sample size and
So-
pretty much come to a pretty sure conclusion.
no, you can't.
that
Here's
it
what-
isn't going to work.
No, you can't, because I'll tell you, I've been on like 4 or 5 bad dates, but I haven't given, but I haven't given up on going on dates because I'm not a rigid thickhead like that. For example,
Say that again. I missed that.
I said
rigid
I've
thickhead.
part.
I've gone on like 4 or 5 bad dates in my life, but I haven't given up on going on them because 4 or 5 doesn't indicate what the future holds or what the sample size is.
God damn it! If that didn't make some fucking sense. Excuse my language.
Only 4 or
I
5
think I
bad
got
days?
the gist of what,
Maybe
I think I
more,
got the
but
gist
even
of
if
what
it was
you were
20.
saying over the laughter. But dude, at the end of the day, look, Lamar Jackson's the Black Tim Tebow. Like
Nah.
this is just going to end in a
Tebow
this is
sucks
going
worse.
to end in a this is going to end in a failure. Look, I'm telling you right now.
But that's
if the
not-
Ravens
but-
don't win it. If the Ravens don't win it this year, it's never going to happen for them.
But I never said it wouldn't
Very
end in a
honest.
failure.
That is one thing that we keep getting hung up on, and I'm trying hard to be objective. He really did just is saying this year he's good. This year
I've
he's
never
good.
said
This
he was
year-
going to be good, sustainable. Never.
Yeah. The thing with
All right. Well, I must have missed. I didn't hear the whole argument or the whole conversation.
I just said he
But
was
what I'm
great
saying
this
is-
season.
and-
That's all I
and
said.
In the grand scheme of things, there's a reason why guys like Lamar Jackson don't last in this league. We see them for 3 or 4 years. They're really cool. They're really fun. They're exciting to watch. And shit, dude, I'm tuning into Niners Ravens today. Like, I might even DVR that shit just in case.
Do it.
It's that good. Like, it's gonna be a good game to watch. But at the end of the day, the Lamar Jackson hype is just that.
Well, I think I do agree in the
it's gonna die out.
the probability. So we've gone from sample sizes to probabilities now. Probability is high that he will
fail.
peter out because
Long
there's
term.
too many things that could happen for him to do that.
Let's be honest though. But let's all right. So let's back it up for one quick second here, just to make and this helps your argument. The probability that
I don't need help.
that any given quarterback in this league will fail is extremely high. There's a reason why
that's
there's
what I
20
said.
plus teams every year looking for a quarterback. But the problem is that guys like Lamar Jackson, Hilchey will speak to this. Me and Hilchey have had this conversation for years, decades.
Yeah.
They don't win in this league. They're really flashy. They put up cool numbers. Like the other night, he put up what? He threw 5 touchdowns. Everybody's like, oh, my God, tell me he can't pass. Dude, he passed for like 190 yards. Like, who fucking cares? Like, he threw a bunch of 5-yard screens.
Yeah, but that
to 10.
I agree, but that was a game script, right? They won 45-6, so he's not going to put up 350 yards passing.
I think what it comes down to is.
But
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Angel, go
No,
ahead.
you're good, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, what we see, though, is, like, we see this in November and December, and then come January, those 45-6 games, they turn into 26-17 losses.
Definitely.
Like, it's just, we've seen this movie 100 times.
I agree.
And yet here we are the 101st time, and we're like, no, this is the time it's going to be different. Like, it's literally the definition of insanity.
Well, yeah, if you pick the field to win the Super Bowl over the Ravens, you've made a good bet. But just because they lose in the playoffs doesn't mean that he's not a good quarterback.
So here's the thing.
Also.
Here's the thing about this.
Well, he's not a good quarterback, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So here's the thing.
But that's your opinion.
Okay, so
he's going to win the league MVP.
No, that's a fact.
So to clarify,
do we have to teach fact versus opinion?
All right, listen. God damn it. To clarify, we agree that he's an amazing football player. Mike,
he's an amazing athlete.
Yeah. Well, I say football player because he's playing football. I bet he can play defense. I bet he can play defense if he wanted to.
Yeah, any guy that can take a beating like that is pretty damn fucking good.
So Mike just refuses to not use the tag QB. So right now we're getting caught up on semantics. As far as people,
isn't that the whole basis of every sports argument?
Yeah. So as far as people that are saying he's the difference, I hate those people too. And I think everyone at this table would bet against him in a long-term success. But I have read the threads, and I have seen my own friends, and I have seen all this crap all over the place of people being like, oh, no, it's different this time. And we're getting caught up as if one of us is saying that in our argument. But actually, really, none of us four has said that, and Joey hasn't said it either. Mm-hmm. We all are betting against that'll have long-term success. Yeah. I think what's
long term, but I'll even go so far as to bet. I don't like. I mean, unless you classify regular season like as short term success, or it depends. Do you decide if like what do you decide? How do you decide short term success? Is it winning the Super Bowl? Is it getting to the playoffs and winning a game? You know, you like
if he wins a playoff game, he needs to win a playoff game.
But that's another.
Okay, so then he will have had short-term success.
Yeah.
By that definition.
That's another.
But my definition of short-term success is winning a Super Bowl. Like Trent Dilfer had great short-term success. You know what I mean? Like there have been guys like no one's going to sit here and be like Tim Tebow had short-term success. Everybody kills Tim Tebow on a daily basis. Tim Tebow won games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all he did was win games.
Tim Tebow.
But everybody knew it wasn't sustainable. And just like with Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick and all these other guys, Michael Vick, when you cater an offense to the player, to your quarterback's skill set, what he's good at, it's never a recipe for long-term success because the defensive minds in this league, the Bill Belichick's of the world, figure him out. They figure out what he can't do, and then they force him to do that thing. And it just and then in 5 years we're like, hey, remember that guy? Like, I mean, come on, man. Who the hell thought 4 years ago when Cam Newton was ripping the league apart that we'd be sitting here being like, well, he's out of Carolina. He might never even play again. That guy's trash. Like, no one thought that. I mean, I did because I've been saying it since you came in the league. But Well,
No,
I always
no,
knew
yeah.
he was a fucking fraud.
Yeah, no,
but
so
that's
you're-
beside the point.
You're right about that. I think the difference in the arguments between Tebow and thing is, yeah, Tebow did win a couple games and he even won a playoff game, but he never played along enough in a linear sequence to ever put up any sort of stat that was recorded. Like his stats weren't good. He did record wins.
Oh no, he put up. Oh, trust me, he put up stats. They were just ugly as fuck.
Yeah,
45%
The
completion
only
percentage.
stat that Tim Tebow could go home and hang his hat on
Was wins.
was the W column.
Yep.
So
That's it.
now we got Lamar
bad
pulled
one.
up here, and again, I'm not someone who's a big Lamar defender, but we got him pulled up here, and he blows Tebow out of the water in terms of just stats. He's throwing for 67 completion
Absolutely.
percentage.
No, don't get me wrong. He's a Lamar Jackson as a passer, much better than Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
But then again, the only people who like try to make arguments that Tim Tebow is a good passer are like the Tommy Pereiras of the world. They're like, he got banned from the league because of Christian.
Jade, I like that.
No.
Yeah, I
He
think
didn't. He got booted out of the league because he wasn't going to be a long-lasting solution at quarterback. And there was that Peyton Manning guy who came along, but whatever.
And
Neither here nor there.
my whole premise of my argument was when you're a quarterback, your primary job is to throw the ball. And if a defensive team can take away your ability to run the ball and you become inept, then you're not a good quarterback. And that has been Lamar Jackson. But the problem
no, they
is
haven't taken the running game.
No
away.
one's taken it
No,
away
not
yet.
true.
They haven't seen
They
it.
haven't taken.
That's exactly what's going to happen come January. Like we see this all the time with these gimmick offenses. Like it doesn't win. It wins in the regular season. It wins in November, maybe even into late December.
Yeah.
But by the end of December, you're going to watch. You're going to see this Ravens offense, and all of a sudden they're going to be putting up like they might still win games and they might still be okay because he'll make a couple of plays here and there, and you'll be like, they'll blow your mind. You'll be like, wow, and it'll be all over ESPN. But at the end of the day, come January, this dude ain't winning a Super Bowl. Like, I mean, they might not even like everybody's talking about the rematch for the AFC Championship in Foxborough between the Ravens and the Patriots. Well, I got news for you. Neither one of them is going to be there. Like, it's just how it's going to go.
that's a little bold, I think.
Who are you
but-
taking? Buffalo? No.
Yeah,
I don't hear it.
It's going to be. It's the AFC Championship is going to be probably. It's going to be. I think it's going to be Kansas City and Houston.
Wow.
Ooh, interesting.
so.
All right. Well, Joey,
I mean, which is going to suck because who the fuck really wants to watch either of those teams? But at least they have exciting quarterbacks.
Yeah, they do.
all right, Joe.
And so
well,
does Baltimore.
thanks-
I mean, if you call him a quarterback.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Thanks for the call, Joe. We're gonna wrap up the Lamar Jackson thing and move on.
No, it's so much fun. It's the
We,
best conversation we've ever had on here, in my opinion.
Thanks for the call, bro. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Good show.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you next week.
All right, bro. Take it easy.
Enjoy your meat.
So, in the closing statement on Lamar Jackson, I'd like to say
Well, you get the closing.
most of the hype is coming from the one thing we've already alluded to, and that is he's going to be the second QB ever to rush for 1,000 yards.
You called him a QB. Thank you.
I didn't say he wasn't a quarterback. I said
Okay,
he was bad
it was
at it.
him.
I said he was bad at it. I didn't say he wasn't. He's
I'm
factually
so
a quarterback.
I'm so confused. All right, guys.
No, so he's going to rush for 1,000 yards, and that's
He's
what's
gonna rush for like
that's the hype.
1,200 yards. I mean,
Now I got to cheer for this guy and the Bills. This is what this show is. This is what the show has done to me.
I don't not cheer for the guy. I enjoy watching him. Watching him is fun
Yeah,
as hell.
yeah, he's fun to see right
I mean, it's insane. Some of the runs this guy's had are some of the best runs I've seen ever in history. I mean, that run a few weeks ago where he did the double spin move there,
Cincinnati.
I'm like, holy cow. I mean,
Smashing
the guy is
people.
fun to watch. I
No
just
doubt.
don't like quarterbacks that play that way.
Yeah, no, I get
Just-
that. I get you wouldn't want him to be your guy,
And I don't like it because I know it doesn't
We
work
wouldn't be able
forever.
to coach him to play like he's playing on
Yeah.
our team. So
And
no,
I-
I don't want him to
and
be
I-
our guy.
Yeah, no, I get.
We
I
need
get-
someone who's more individually.
And the reason
handle
why
it.
I don't like it is
We suck.
because in 2 years the Ravens will be looking for another quarterback. That's why I don't like it.
This was a very
Let's-
good episode on miscommunication.
So,
though, and
let's,
how we
let's-
could come
I was
together.
trying to bridge the gaps in between them.
Let's
That was good.
let's move on from the Lamar topic and let's talk about the Josh Shaw suspension here for the Cardinals. Josh Shaw obviously out for the season, right? He's out for the season, I think, with he had surgery on something. He's betting on NFL games, and he gets suspended this year and next year.
Yeah.
So this
Can-
dude,
But he's
So
been
can
hurt
he
too
can he
since
freely
August.
bet now between this year and next year? Is he
I
free
mean,
to
I
bet,
would
or
assume
is he?
so, right? He's
can come back after
He
that?
literally can't play, so why couldn't he bet? But anyway, the thing here that really opened my eyes about this was the NFL suspends this guy for 2 seasons, basically a season and a half at least, and they suspend Myles Garrett indefinitely, which we know he'll be back next year.
So you're confused by the fact that the guys who run things are mad that someone beneath them is making more money? Wow.
No,
that's
I don't think
crazy.
he's. I mean, he's not.
don't know if
he's
he's
not
winning or not.
necessarily making more money. He's just betting on games. He could be losing all those bets.
When it
But-
comes to lessers making money or putting themselves in a position to do so outside of what you pay them, they don't like that. That's in government. That's
well,
in
again,
sports.
we don't
that's
know
in
if he's
everywhere.
making money. He could be losing every
I
bet
said
he made,
putting
but-
yourself in
Yeah.
position to as well.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
like that.
I don't even think
they don't
it's-
want
They
you
don't
to
want
do
you.
that.
You can't bet because you have insider information. It's
The
just
white
they're-
people at the top
that's-
don't
that's
want you
what they
making
say.
money off who you
How-
are.
I mean,
Don't work that
you're
way.
You're one of 20. You're one of
yeah.
what 33 players that play on the field. You don't have any control over that game, really, especially at his position, right? He can't win the game.
Well, I mean,
So-
But you have insider
why
knowledge.
couldn't
injuries.
college
That's what
players
they-
up until now just sign an autograph?
I understand, but
Yeah.
but the thing that's ironic is they're treating this as if it's worse
I
than
know.
smashing someone
I know.
over the head with a helmet.
Because the message they're trying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The message they're trying to send is, we really don't care if you guys kill each other, but we'll be damned if you try to make money elsewhere other than when we say you make money. We tell you where you make your money. You don't make your money.
I'm gonna put the crying liberal thing
It's
up
true.
again. With it.
You're literally bringing up the topic and then you're going against the answer. I don't understand. That's what it is. They don't want you to. If a billionaire makes billions, they're fine with it. If a small business owner somehow makes billions, they'll try to find a way to take that money away from him.
And it's a bad look.
That's how it works.
It's a bad look for the league, though, in terms of connections. Right? Who's running the gambling stuff? The mob.
Are you going to reuse the same meme twice?
Yeah.
It's not the same meme. I changed it.
Captain Planet, everybody, out here recycling to save the world. Look at him go.
Oh, whose joke is that? You stole that
That's
joke.
my joke. I made that joke.
No,
He
it's
did
not-
say
yeah,
it about
why?
Iron Cheek.
I made
Where's
that
Iron-
joke up.
Where are you, Iron Cheek?
That's
guy,
my
by the
joke.
way?
I know Iron Cheek
I
hasn't been around
He's
in a
not
while.
watching us. He gave up.
Yeah. I don't make memes off other platforms that I've been used. I make
This
up
is a good one.
comedy.
This is a good
because
one.
I'm smart.
You make up comedy?
Yeah, I make up my own comedy.
You should do some stand up sometime.
Eh.
You should take this seat and lead the show.
You want me to?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
I'd love you
Hey, I'll
to.
tell you what. If I ever lead the show, I won't use the same meme with two different punches twice.
I'd love you to lead the show so I can sit there and just show up and talk. It'd be awesome.
I'd love for you to put shoes on because your feet are atrocious.
Listen, I'm in my house. I do what I want
yeah,
to do.
regardless, dude. Jesus Christ.
But anyway, Josh Shaw suspended for basically 2 seasons because he bet on some NFL games. Seems a bit harsh, if you ask me. Again, I mean, the guy can't control the outcome of the game.
But how come you could say it's harsh, but when I give you a reason why, I'm an asshole? I don't understand.
They
That's
don't
the
want-
reason why. That's why they're doing it.
I understand why they're doing it. But why is that worse than smashing someone over the helmet?
Because they don't care if you kill each other. They just care if you try to make money. That's not the money they give you.
Because it's bad for their image.
But they make money
It's-
outside of football all the time with their TB12 stuff.
It's
and-
within the rule of law that they can't do anything about.
But why wouldn't they be mad about that? Why wouldn't they be looking for a reason to suspend?
Because
Tom
they
Brady for
have
that?
no way. Because they can't get around the rule of law. There, if there was a loophole, they'd find a way.
They can find a way. The NFL's found a way. They deflate. They suspend the guy 4 games for deflating a football for knowing a deflated football.
Because that
Come
is
on,
removed.
man.
That is removed.
There's ways to get
that
around
is
it.
removed from American legality. That falls within only their government of the NFL, which they can control. Once you're doing something like profiting off your name, but it's within the laws of the country, you can't do any. They can't do anything to stop that. But they govern themselves within themselves. So if you do something that they deem within them is bad, they can punish that. That's why.
So Josh,
You can't bet on anything that you have any ties to or influences. Like you can bet over here legally in the Twin River, but you
Tiverton.
can't bet on Tiverton or Lincoln. But you can't bet on like a Providence Friars game because they think the influence. You could try to throw something for the spread.
Wait,
and this is a known thing.
We can't. You mean? What do you
We
mean?
can't.
We
can-
can't
can
bet
go
on a
bet the-
Providence Friars game.
No, not
Why?
in Rhode Island. Because the kids could take money from mob to throw a few points here and there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Now,
I didn't know that.
granted, could
I've
a
never
kid,
been to the
could,
sports book
could,
over there.
could a kid from Boston College come in from out of state and do that? Yeah, sure, of course, we understand that, but that's just kind of like the rule of how it goes.
Yeah.
They try to do that when it comes to this stuff, right? Right? Pete Rose. Pete Rose bet on his team to win. Did he do anything wrong? Well, how did that influence anything?
Oh, yeah, bet on my team to win every week.
I coached to win the game.
Not my team, but if I was playing.
But when he didn't bet on his team, what did the bookies, mobsters, whoever is involved, right? Oh, he must be something up with this game. He's not picking his own team tonight. And that's what came down on Pete Rose. All he did was bet on his team to win on certain
Which
nights.
was probably a gimmick based on the matchup.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
getting
that
flack.
match.
Oh, you're not going to win this. And you know what? I'm betting on my team. I'm putting it all out there. Not that he's a habitual bettor, but it was a statement to be made. Yeah.
Let's talk.
And I don't know about the situation. That's why I'm saying what
Okay.
I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I'm
That was
saying
before your time.
Yeah, yeah.
You can-
but I'm
read
assuming
about
that's what it is. That's why, like, you know what I mean?
We're running low on time. Let's run through a couple more topics here real quick. The Terrell Pryor stabbing. This one,
Wow.
when it was reported by Adam Schefter, sounded a lot like he was a victim of a stabbing, right? And you're like,
And he was.
oh,
And he
wow.
was.
He was.
And
Well,
he
you also
was.
don't know when all the details came out right
He
away.
was, but
They-
he
details
was.
might not have been out yet.
This
we don't
this
know.
was. I mean,
Maybe he's going to wear a shirt coming out of the hospital that says she started it.
we're gonna get to that in a minute. But he was a victim naturally, but
Yes.
of his own consequences,
But it doesn't matter. But he is.
He is.
He is. You
He
are.
is.
Yeah.
He is,
Took
absolutely.
and escalated that stuff.
without a doubt. But when I read this story first, I was like, wow, like what? Someone break in Terrell Pryor's.
Yeah.
Another quarterback didn't work out, by the way, running quarterback.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a
he was never
great
expected
running
to-
against the Steelers.
He
though.
was
Just
never
saying.
expected to be
We've
good.
moved
though.
on from that topic.
But yeah, he was never expected to be
Yeah,
good.
but he
though.
went
He
to
was a
play-
supplemental draft
Hey,
player.
pretty good wide receiver for a
Gross.
year or two.
yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 yards.
So yeah, and Lamar Jackson would be a great running back sometime in the future.
The best.
But let's talk about this. So this
Bring
guy,
him home to Miami. That's where he's from anyway.
I'm starving.
This
I'm
guy
sorry,
was
dude.
this guy was a victim of his own circumstances. Really, I mean, he goes out with his girlfriend or whoever she is to him. They get into an argument. They're supposed to be going out to a nightclub. He goes back home furious. She continues to the nightclub with her girlfriends. End of the night when things are bad, everybody's been drinking. They go back to the apartment where he's waiting for them in the hallway.
Jesus. Was it Herm Edwards that said nothing good happens after midnight? Was it Herm?
Yeah.
He had some good ones, boy. And I think that was one of them.
All right, I need some water, so you guys take over for this. I gotta get some water.
Okay.
Talk to Terrell Pryor.
Talk Terrell Pryor. Yeah. Terrell Pryor was a supplemental draft player. He was never really
Let's see
expected
how
to be
good your leadership skills are.
That's,
Okay,
Let's go,
Terrell
Angel.
Pryor, was the quarterback of Ohio State. Had quite a good run there, but was never really expected to be much outside of that, to the point where he wasn't even drafted.
He was short too, wasn't he?
No, he was pretty tall. Terrell was pretty tall. I think really, really tall actually.
yeah.
If he was taken in the supplemental draft by the Raiders, and then he actually went in for the Raiders because of a fluke. He wasn't even supposed to play. I think their quarterback went down. I
It's a
believe.
bad quarterback.
And
McGloin.
basically the only QB they had on the roster was but threw a ball before was Pryor. So they were like, all right, and then they put him in and they did some situational coaching with him, and he had some runs, but he was never actually expected to play for them at
I
all.
meant,
Yeah,
I meant
6'4".
talk about his stabbing, not talk about his lack of a career.
Well, listen,
Imagine
we're
getting
talking-
arrested while you're like in critical condition. I'm coming in to arrest you or whatever.
Yeah.
That's got to be horrible.
Yeah, he.
Can you guys wait?
They
till I
cuff you to the
recover?
gurney. They cuff you to the gurney.
Hey, at least they knew where they could find him, so they were like, "Now's the time."
So he meets them in the hallway.
Yeah, so he meets him in the hallway. Things start to get heated, yelling, screaming match. He's actually physically fighting with the girl, like rolling around on the ground, fighting with her.
Okay, how did it even come to that?
I don't know. This
Wait,
girl's a beast.
Yeah,
apparently.
clearly you can't one shot this chick. Like, what are we talking about here? You're rolling around ground and pound with a woman.
Yeah, that was what the article said. He was rolling around, literally fighting with her, and
He's not good in the stand-up.
Clearly,
one of her
Oh,
took her to the ground. He took her to where he's strong.
Right,
down.
this
Rapper.
story was hilarious because one of her friends is like narrating this thing through her Apple Watch. I read it in the article.
Wow, this gets worse and worse.
She's like sending a text message while it's happening through her Apple Watch, saying what's going on.
Wait, a text message, not even to the police, just like just to World Star Hip Hop, like
Yeah, to
Jesus
TMZ.
Christ, dude.
So at some point, the girl narrating this on her Apple Watch sees blood flowing rather quickly from Terrell Pryor's chest and shoulder, and they realize like, oh shit, like this got bad. So they decide to call whatever 911 or whatever they did to get him out of there. I don't know if they brought him to the hospital or whatever.
I think an ambulance came and he just got transported out, right?
No, he came.
Or did they-
He showed up to the hospital in his private Mercedes Benz. So I don't know if they drove him
What?
there or what. But
Okay, I
yeah,
missed
because
that
the
part.
police said that
Okay.
his Mercedes was covered in blood. But
Okay.
wow. And anyway, he shows up to the hospital in critical condition,
Mhm.
has surgery, and is expected to make a full recovery. But at some point during the scuffle between him and his girlfriend, she stabbed him twice, once in the chest, once in the shoulder. And
Well, you can have different opinions on why a woman should be carrying a knife or not, and you'd probably be right on both sides of the argument. But when you're a giant man who's essentially a human weapon, which is what a professional athlete is, and you attack a woman, you kind of set yourself up for what she needs to do to defend herself.
Yeah, and she
With,
did.
with that being said, we're glad he made a recovery. We glad he didn't die. Obviously, that's good.
Well, the girls
but-
weren't. One of them said they should have left him there to die.
Again, this is one of those things where it's like, however you debate both sides of that argument, you might be right on both sides, but it is what it is.
So, just a quick reminder again for those of you watching, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. So we're trying this new thing out. So if you guys don't want to keep your phone open and active, and you have YouTube that you pay for or one of those other platforms, feel free to try it out there.
What did she stab him with? Was it a knife?
I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't really know the details.
I mean,
Too much.
I mean, I can make jokes about this and be like, dude, you got stabbed by a chick because you couldn't beat her up. But I mean, it's stupid. I think if the details are as such, 100% like you just described them,
Well, that's what I've read. I mean,
exactly, and they can change over time.
When
as of right now, that's what's being
when
reported.
this goes to court and the full details get released in a police report, then we'll know. But
So basically, the point I'm getting at is if things went down the way that has been reported, it seems to me like she will face some sort of charge, but
she's
She's charged with attempted murder.
yeah. She's
it shouldn't. It
basically.
really shouldn't be though.
The
Well,
equivalent.
yeah, if she's defending herself, sure.
It
yeah.
shouldn't
We don't
be.
know the
The
details.
equi-
That's
the
the
equi-
point I'm saying.
It's the equivalent of attempted murder. Where was this? In Los Angeles?
I thought it
or
was in
somewhere?
Pennsylvania.
She
Wow,
should
I
not
must
be.
be-
Pittsburgh. It was in Pittsburgh.
If
Yeah.
it went down the way described, it should not be considered attempted murder. If that's the case, I mean, why defend yourself? You're a much weaker, smaller person. This is like me. Him beating up a woman is like me beating up a child.
Essentially, yeah.
With the amount of strength that man has in his body,
Sounds
his
like she
size
held her
alone.
own, though. Sounds like she held her own.
Yeah, I mean, hey, dude.
Maybe he didn't expect
Maybe
that.
Dana
and he
White.
didn't wanna
Dana
punch,
White signed the
know.
contract. Get my girl in there.
That's
My
I bet
boy
she'd bang
Nunez.
out-
My boy Nunez about to get banged out.
I bet she'd knock out Conor McGregor.
Hey, he's coming back.
I know. Fight Cowboy.
He's gonna win.
We're gonna have to watch that.
Connor.
Connor's gonna. You like Connor?
I like him though.
I like
for
Connor.
entertainment value.
I like
Okay,
him. Yeah.
fine, whatever.
I don't like him as a fighter, but
I'm not gonna be.
I like his
I
persona.
hate the hype that he was a great fighter, and I hate that he rode the hype. Because you're not. You're like so average at fighting in the grand scheme of history of UFC. It's gross. But anyway, yeah, she shouldn't be. This shouldn't be attempted.
Yeah,
murder.
we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
If it went that way, I mean, maybe
Yeah, we
there's
don't know.
maybe that's not what happened. Maybe he was like, "Hey, babe, are you okay?" And she was like,
Wait,
"Ah!" But I doubt that's
You've
what
been
happened.
calling other people.
Yeah, we'll
You
see
don't
what
know.
happens.
So,
So at the end of the day, he's probably going to look at jail time and stabbed,
yeah,
and she gets off. If this goes the right way, scot free. So you played yourself, bro.
let's quickly brush on the Pats don't play today. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
tonight.
Tonight. Okay.
I like
So you're
games.
not in a rush for the 1 o'clock then, right?
No.
All right. We got like 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so let's talk on the Freddie Kitchens thing for a second, because this guy has been a dope. We know that, right? I mean, the guy has been a bad coach. He's got a team full of talent. We've talked about them every week on this show and how they've underachieved and such. The incident happens in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, with Myles Garrett smashing Mason Rudolph over the head with a helmet. You can argue who started it, but we know the end result. It was brought to another level by smashing someone over the head with a helmet. Freddie Kitchens.
That'll do it.
Freddie Kitchens is seen at the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood movie premiere
Good movie, by the way.
it
Wow,
good?
wow. Okay.
with a
Tom
shirt
Hanks.
on that says Pittsburgh started it in the Cleveland Browns colors. And I'm like, this is as
So,
Freddie Kitchens.
You know who
as-
deserves
so
to get
I
hit in
was-
the head with a helmet? Freddie Kitchens.
So I was waiting for something egregious. I've been saying that about this guy, like really clearly egregious.
Here it is.
You've been the
I mean,
optimist.
I know,
You've been the
I
optimist. for
and
him.
I usually am, and
you
it is.
always are. Like
I am. My worldview is optimistic. But anyway, it's a silly thing, but leaders don't do things that escalate things. As simple as it is.
on a week
Period.
that you're playing that team again.
And any leader, I'm going to say that. And
I, you know where I want to go with that. But go ahead.
I believe the same as you on that. It's an escalation. We already know this is a cauldron today. We know something's going to happen in this game.
Yep.
We believe something's going to happen in this game. He's the coach. How you can't
Yeah.
do that.
And the even worse look is, like I had said before the broadcast, how he was consoling with Mike Tomlin during the game when it happened, like the hugging, handshaking. Clearly see on his face, this is wild, man. I can't believe our guys are doing this. Like, really, like, it's like, how fake are you to Tomlin's face? Like, if you truly, I don't have a problem with a coach believing this. You probably shouldn't wear the shirt. But if you truly believe that, you should have ran your ass out on that field and gotten Tomlin's face and be like, what are you coaching your dudes to do? What's going on? Are you trying to hurt my guys? But not, hey, man, listen, this is wild, huh? Wow, crazy. Hey, dude, let's clean this up. And then you walk away. Yeah, Tomlin's a bitch.
But it does sound like,
what?
but it sounds like the third grade too. Like he started it. Yeah, but you
Yeah,
escalated it, did
exactly.
something 50
Yeah,
times worse. That got
exactly.
you
And
into
the worst
trouble.
part about this story is afterwards he's taking pictures of people with a shirt or whatever, and then they do a interview of him or whatever, and he goes, "Oh, I wasn't expecting anyone to like see me with the shirt on."
Oh, so
Well,
you
you
Then
went
why'd
to
you
a-
wear it?
so you only escalate things behind closed doors,
You're an
which
NFL
which
a chump, like I'm
which speaks
saying.
to your character
A
then
chump.
when
You're
nobody's
an,
looking.
you're an NFL head coach going to a movie premiere, and you don't expect people to see you with the shirt on? What? Like, that's the crazy. Like,
And could there be anything more anti Mr. Rogers than like Pittsburgh started it?
Yeah, right.
right?
And you
I
know
mean,
Mr. Rogers is from Pittsburgh too, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
on top of everything else.
No.
Yeah, it was very disrespectful. Mr.
How
Rogers,
dare you disrespect Mr. Rogers?
who nobody
How dare
hates.
you.
Nobody hates.
Nobody
Mr.
hates.
Rogers.
How could
Yo,
you?
Mr. Rogers is
Ideal.
down with the brothers, the Hispanics.
He's
Yeah.
Mother
He's
Teresa.
down with everybody, dude. Ain't
He's
no
Mother
one.
Teresa.
The
in male
freshest
form.
cardigan you've ever seen.
Oh, dude, my dude can
Straight
walk down any street in
It's a
any
beautiful
neighborhood, and everyone would be like, "Yo,
He is the neighborhood.
rest in peace." Mr. Rogers is the neighborhood, dude. How dare you disrespect Mr. Rogers like
He's
that?
from the hood.
Fact.
Yeah. So Freddie Kitchens doing Freddie Kitchens things.
But yeah, I really do hate.
Who should
I really
be
do hate-
fired first, Jason Garrett or Freddie Kitchens?
Garrett. He said 10 years.
Garrett.
He said 10 years.
But dude, I've seen Tomlin get aggressive. I've seen Tomlin get loud at people. Tomlin ain't afraid to Tomlin don't play. He don't shy away. So I really hate this after again watching the game and seeing him and Freddie for like that whole intermission where the game was stopped talking and shaking hands and being friendly. It's like, so Mike came up to you, chill, and you clearly feel another way, but you put on a fake face in front of him. What are you afraid?
Do we?
It's
want
not
to
the end of it's not the end of the world, but it's a bad look. It's
Yeah,
not
dude.
thoughtful. You had to. It's like pressing send.
Yeah,
You had time
look,
to
just
not
leave-
put the shirt
just,
on.
Exactly, it's not the end of the world, but just leave it at what you said in terms of look to your team. Bad look. You think your team didn't see you out there acting like this was crazy, but then behind closed doors, you're like, "Yeah, I got your back, guys." You think your team won't see that? Your team sees that, dude.
Do you guys want to curb the 3-player to start a franchise thing with, and just go over the games, or do you want to do both?
I'm good with whatever, man.
Whatever.
Do both? Want to do both?
Do both.
Let's
do
go.
both. All right.
all in.
All right, so we got a little creative this week. Saw something online that I thought we could run with on the show here. So I'm gonna pop it up on your screen, and we are going to discuss it as we go. So the topic is choose 3 current players to start your NFL franchise with.
Let's start
We're
with
each going to give our 3.
And I think that we operationally defined it differently,
Yeah.
which is good. Which is a good thing for the show, like how we would do
Let's
it.
get Hilchi to go first.
All right.
Go
So
ahead.
you guys gonna laugh.
But I want to hear how each of you defined it because that'll make a big difference.
So I'm playing general manager.
Yep.
If my owner tells me go with whoever you want to give yourself the best chance to win, even if it's for a 3-year window,
Mhm.
I'll take Brady with his 76 winning percentage,
Mhm.
75% winning percentage in the playoffs, 6 rings, 216 wins, and 30 in the playoffs.
Damn.
Now, if my owner wants to go long term, Mahomes.
Mahomes.
I mean, I was thinking about Deshaun Watson too. I love his toughness, but I feel like Mahomes gets out of the pocket much easier than Watson for him to maybe outlast Watson.
Yeah.
Because Watson takes a beating in the pocket down in Houston.
Yeah.
For a running back, Saquon Barkley. Guy had 91 catches last year.
Mhm.
He has like a McCaffrey-like feel to him on how he plays.
Mhm.
And he's a year younger, so why not go there? And then Michael Thomas, his catch rate is ridiculous. 85%
God
last
damn it.
year,
I
83%
don't
this
have,
year.
I don't have any of them.
83% this year. For his career, 78%. I was looking at DeAndre Hopkins. He's in the 60s. Julio in the 60s. So I'm going with Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
All right, so So your three are Brady, Thomas.
So did you
Depends
stick to running
on
back?
what the owner wants to do.
Did everyone?
If the owner wants to go short term and go full steam for a Super Bowl now, Brady.
Yeah, you could do this
Long
like
term, Mahomes, but Barkley at running back and Michael Thomas at receiver.
you could do this like a 3-year window to try to win a championship or a 10-year. Like you can do it any way you want.
also,
Go ahead, go with yours because my three are the exact same.
I mean,
as
mine are basically,
he stole the
too.
I got Mahomes, Barkley, and
But mine are
Michael Thomas.
Mine are basically too. So you stuck with the running back, quarterback, wide receiver. You didn't deviate from that.
Yeah, that's
because that's what it says.
that's
But
what it was.
but it does say 3 players, so it's just like whatever. But yeah, so for me, it was. I mean, obviously at quarterback, quarterback has to be one of them, even if it was offense and defense. Mahomes, running back, McCaffrey, 100% McCaffrey for me. Christian McCaffrey has shown with all the greatness we saw out of Saquon last year.
Christian McCaffrey's the running back version of Lamar Jackson.
And I was debating
The white
between-
man don't last. At
Man,
running back.
you know what? I should take Lamar Jackson. I didn't, but I should do it just for the end of
And
the
I
show.
was
up,
debating
right?
between Barkley and McCaffrey. I was like, I'll go with the guy that's a year younger.
The white man don't last at running back.
So the reason
just
why-
fact, just fact.
Send all letters
Time
off.
out.
Forget it.
No,
Don't
not
send
they
letters.
don't. No, it's not they don't last. It's they're not good. He's good.
I know he's good, but
But
can
we
he
haven't seen any that are
sustain
good,
that?
is what I'm
We're
saying.
not going to get onto the 2-hour
He
argument.
said, but maybe he wanted just for this year.
But it's not about. It's not really about sustaining. It's they haven't been good.
You're
and
starting
none
a
of them are good.
franchise with this guy. You want
Yeah.
this guy to last.
Okay, but the problem with
hold
white
on.
running backs over history isn't that they don't sustain goodness. It's that they're not good. That's what I'm saying. These running quarterbacks don't sustain.
Wait, he's
shit,
white?
right?
Like,
So I'm going McCaffrey.
whitest
I've
brother.
never seen him with his
This
helmet.
guy will lead your team in catches. Even if you got a number 1 receiver, this guy will lead your team in catches. He'll get you over 100 from the backfield, the place that's much harder to cover than just outright corner on a receiver. It's like running the ball from the pocket. It's easier. That's why QBs average 10 yards a run when they run, because backs tend to be turned by that point. Mahomes is just the guy's an animal. As of right now, the guy's an animal. I'm looking long term. I want to build a franchise. I'm going with Christian because he does it. He proved he does it all. He can run between the tackles.
Yep.
He is a workhorse. He's not the biggest back in the world, and he still takes the beating of all the touches he gets. At wide receiver, it really is hard to go against a guy like Michael Thomas. He is quite young. He doesn't drop the
26.
ball. He doesn't drop the ball.
Yeah.
All he does is catch the ball. He gets the yards. He scores touchdowns. He doesn't really have a weakness to his game. In terms of like some receivers get a lot of yards, not a lot of catches, not a lot of touchdowns, vice versa. There's really no weakness to his game. He really keeps it even. I would like to pick someone other than him, and make it more, different amongst us. But it's hard. It's hard to. All I can say is my thought process was building a franchise for long term, and those are the guys I think would be the best ones to do it with.
Long term, definitely.
Yeah.
So I did it based on maybe like a 3-year window, and I know you could do it off of a 10 or 15. So we defined it a little bit differently, which would lead to different picks, right? If we didn't set
It's your
what it was gonna
franchise.
be.
Build
Yeah.
it how you want.
So I took Russell Wilson at quarterback for a
Amazing.
3-year
Yeah.
window because I still think he's going to be able to do this for a few more years, and
Oh, without a
I'm
doubt.
trying to win a championship.
He's not old either, right?
31. So we're looking at like ages 31 through 34.
Good. 5 years.
At running back, I took Christian McCaffrey for just about all the things you said. I think he's the best back in the league right now.
Yeah.
And at wide receiver, I took Julio Jones because I think he's the best receiver in that window. Even though Thomas is putting up video game stuff, he's in a better situation right now than Julio is.
Yeah.
Very true.
Matt Ryan's getting busy getting stiff armed.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Oh,
getting. I mean,
man.
that
Sacked
offensive
9
line. I
times.
didn't realize how bad. I mean, he was getting sacked the second he.
I put
up.
up a post. Who's more overrated, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, or the Dallas
Well,
Cowboys?
we know the answer to that, but Ryan. I mean, that line is so bad.
It's
If
like
you
that-
watch Thursday night. Wow.
It's like that meme with the sweat
Yeah,
bot.
yeah. What to
Which
pick?
button?
What to click?
Let's go over the game slate. So week 13 in the NFL, we got 1:00 slate. Well, first let's preface this by saying that I'm number 1 in the standings. By the way,
And I went 3-0 on Thanksgiving, though.
you did.
I am way
But that's-
behind.
You're like 12 games behind.
I know, but I come on late in the season. I'm strong at the end.
I don't even think there's enough games for you to win at this
I
point.
know. I let you off the hook like Dennis Green.
Anything can happen.
You are who we thought we were, Mike.
You are who we thought we
You
were.
were. You were. I don't know.
Just making sure
Whatever I
understand.
said.
I like that though. We
Great
should make sure.
commercial.
Yeah.
Titans at Colts, 1:00.
I have the Colts at home.
I took the Colts too. They're just better. Titans are good at home. Titans are good at home.
Titans.
I mean, do you even have to ask me clearly? Until I'm rolling with our T17 until until they fall off. I'm taking the Titans.
Jets at Bengals.
The Bengals will go 0-12.
Jets.
I took the Jets.
Bengals.
No thanks to Le'Veon
Here's why.
Bell.
Here's why.
Andy
Jets,
Dalton starting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jets gave the Dolphins their first win. Dalton back in today. Bengals first win.
No, it's a possibility.
Damn right.
Redskins at the Panthers.
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 Yeah, I went with the Panthers at
Yeah,
home.
it's-
You know, Dwayne Haskins a little excited with the selfie.
He got his win. He's happy, but it's good for now.
Yeah, it's only going to be one in a row for you, buddy.
Yeah.
49ers at Ravens. Great game.
It is.
Why is this on at 1 o'clock?
Because that's what they originally scheduled, because they probably didn't think
Why
Yeah.
didn't
the
this get,
Niners were going
Oh,
to
I
be
wish
this
this
good.
was 4.
why didn't this get
Or the
flexed?
Ravens this
Why didn't
good.
this get flexed
It
to the
could've
night
easily
Or
game?
even a
Flexed.
4 o'clock game.
Even a 4 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
Ravens.
Yeah, they should have moved it 4:25.
Going Ravens.
How are you?
I took Ravens because they're at home. That's
Yeah,
the only
I'm
reason why.
picking Ravens, rooting for the 49ers.
I'm taking the Ravens because they have a good
Yeah,
great
they're-
quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
The-
Oh wait, no, that's not what the script
Great
says.
football player. The Patriots really need the 49ers to win this one to
Yes,
kind of
to-
secure that number 1 seed, keep pace at least.
Yes.
I mean, do they really need the 1 seed? Just get the 2 seed.
Well, it makes
They
a
do,
difference
'cause
when
they're
you
going to
have to
Baltimore.
have
If they
Baltimore.
gotta go to
You got to
Baltimore.
go to Baltimore. You have to have them come
That's
to New
true.
England.
Big
Yeah.
difference.
When
It's
they
important.
when that
if,
had
it's
to
that,
happen.
if that gets
If
there,
that
yeah,
happens,
if it gets
yes.
there.
If the Patriots have home field, I have them in the Super Bowl. Don't know what
Yeah, if they get home field, it's kind of hard to root against.
It is. I mean,
what
they
would
go on the
happen
road
in
and win. So
Baltimore.
Yeah,
I
this
don't know
team
what
has
would
just
happen
been
in
so good at home. I mean,
Yeah.
if they get home field in the AFC Championship game, you can
right.
probably
and they go on the road and win too.
Probably
I mean,
assume they go on
last
the
year.
road.
They
Yeah,
can
they did
still
last
do
year,
it,
which
so
is-
it's not.
an anomaly.
Yeah.
we got Bucks at Jags.
Bucks.
How many interceptions will be thrown in this game?
I'm pretty sure I took the Bucks. Yeah, I took
got
the Bucks.
Bucks.
I took the Bucks.
I'll
on
take the
road.
Bucks as well.
Bucks are a well coached team.
I'll take the Jaguars.
You took the
At
Jags.
home.
All
Both
right.
crummy teams.
Browns at Steelers. Steelers starting the third string quarterback to avoid any controversy with Mason
And
Rudolph.
Juju is out.
I have a couple
Juju
questions.
is
I have
out.
a couple questions.
No, Connor's in.
Is
Connor's
Connor
in.
okay?
Okay, that's a
I took the Browns.
I have the Browns.
Browns.
This is a hard one for me. This is
Nah,
a
I don't
very
think
hard
so.
one for me.
It's a tough game.
Browns are going to sweep the season series.
Browns.
All right. Well,
Still trying to make their
where I'm
wild
at.
card push.
yeah. Both teams, yeah.
We got the Packers at the Giants.
Packers.
Packers should
Pack.
it should be an easy win for the Packers coming off a loss, right?
The Packers have looked bad a few times.
They
Like,
got-
like
last
they
week they
scarily
got
really
demolished by
bad a
San
few
Fran.
times.
They have what 3 losses, and
They
2 of
got-
them were
blowout.
blowouts.
That's
Because
not a
you
good
blowout.
sign.
can't sustain greatness with no talent. At
And they
wide
got another
receiver. You
game
just
left
can't.
against Minnesota, who's also 8-3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
which
take the Pack
will
here,
march.
though. I'll take the Pack over the Giants.
I took the Pack.
They need to
absolutely.
rebound.
Eagles at Dolphins. I took the Eagles, rooting for the Dolphins.
Eagles.
Eagles.
I took the Eagles and I'm rooting for the Dolphins, too. It's funny how that
I
worked
took
out.
the Eagles. I took the Eagles because the Eagles seem to, at the end of the season, come along and
They
win
have
the
a-
games that they're supposed to.
They
win.
have a very favorable schedule.
Yeah, and-
Wow.
and they get better as the season goes on. For some reason, they're one of those teams that like struggles early on, but then they get better towards the end. They always
like
they-
the opposite of Dallas. kinda.
exactly the complete opposite of Dallas. Rams at Cards.
Another hard one for me.
It is, because the Rams just look so out of sync.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Cardinals.
the Rams have played a few close games recently. They seem to be getting a little bit better, but they did get
Monday
blown out by the Ravens. But I'm gonna take the Rams. They're a better team.
I'm going with the Rams as well.
I'm taking the Rams too, but this is a tough one. This was a tough one to call.
This next one was the toughest one for me of the week because both of these teams are so up and down.
Yeah, they are.
Chargers at Broncos. I took the Broncos with Drew Lock getting his first NFL start.
I'm going Chargers.
Chargers.
You could pick up 2 games on me with this game and the
Titans.
I'm taking the Broncos.
If you're paying,
which
close,
I'm up 2 games. So
if you're paying close attention to how I'm picking right now,
yeah,
I'm being very selective.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to. Yeah,
I
you
could-
got to you have some strategy.
I could just listen back to the show audio and match all your picks for
On the
rest
Browns,
of the year.
on the Browns Steelers pick
Be a
where I was
douche.
torn, I'm just gonna go with what you go with because I don't lose a game there.
I could just go with all your picks and then you'll never win. How about
Or you could change it at 1 minute and 1.
that?
All the games.
Right.
Oh, from 1
Yeah,
minute.
right. Yeah.
So I went with Broncos.
Mhm.
Chargers. Would you go with, Mike?
I went with the Broncos at home.
Raiders at Chiefs. Chiefs are 11.5 point favorites in this one.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I have the Chiefs.
I want the Chiefs as well. Pats at Texans. I know Mike thought this might be another game that the Pats lose.
But I don't know if Mike thought when the season started they'd be without J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney's expected to play, I think, this week.
Jadeveon
Well, he
Clowney's
doesn't-
not on the Texans.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But that's good information for those out
He is
there.
expected to play, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dorsett and Sanu are expected to play.
For the Seahawks.
Wait, Dorsett and Sanu are playing for the Seahawks?
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
I've been
Patriots.
saying all along this
I
was
got
going to be a
Patriots.
loss, but I have to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I picked the Patriots, too. I think the Texans are playing too up and down right now. They're not playing to that caliber.
I don't
that
even
they
think
need
the
to beat
Texans will get blown out. I just think that they don't have the one defensive X factor piece they needed.
But
I-
go ahead.
I think the Patriots are going to win a really close game, like a 20-17 kind of. They make
Yeah.
the right plays at the end of the
And
game.
Bill O'Brien's been terrible against
Yeah,
the Patriots.
I
love
will
the
say that the
Texans.
Patriots offense is going to need to step up, not like they did against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
a little bit more. They're
Their
going to do
offense-
more than that.
Their
yes,
offense
but-
looks pretty bad overall because the Cowboys' defense has been very soft, giving up a lot of plays,
Yeah.
and they
They got the block punt. They got set up in good field position a couple times there.
what do we got? We got Vikings at Seahawks on Monday night.
Seahawks.
Good matchup.
Sea
Good
chickens. Let's go.
I have the Seahawks at home.
Same Seahawks.
I have the Seahawks at home. That'll about do it for
Yeah,
us
buddy.
Yeah.
Good show.
for the week. That was a great show. A lot of heated topics there. Lamar Jackson. I love it.
That's
I love
great.
It.
That's what you're supposed to
That's
do.
what we need. We need more of that. But as always, folks, get on out, download our stuff, all the usual places. We're gonna give this restream thing a shot again because
Yeah.
it looks like it worked out well for us. So you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, all the other places. Download the show, share it with your friends, tell everyone. We appreciate it. Peace.
Later.
Have a good day.
On behalf of all of us here at Two Dudes and a Mic, we would like to thank you for watching or listening to our show. This show is brought to you by our sponsor, The Best Ever. Visit www.thebestever.com for all your apparel needs. All of the video from our previous episodes is available anytime on YouTube if you subscribe to our channel, Two Dudes and a Mic. Our show audio is also available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Be sure to check out our page on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cover3 Radio. We thank you for your continued support.